Chapter 901. The frenzied Sand Pirate King and the second-in-command spat out mouthfuls of blood under the impact of the purplish-red light wave. Chu Quanren, on the other hand, stood in the air, his aura still as calm as ever. All the frenzied sand bandits could not help but gasp. Too powerful. That's right. This is the strength of the poetic sword immortal. Even the combined forces of the big boss and the second head were no match for him. They were defeated in one move. Terrifying, Chu Quanren stood still on the spot. His white robe was otherworldly as the purplish-red light gradually dissipated. He looked at the frenzied sand bandit king and his companion calmly. It was as if defeating two heavenly law lords was nothing to him. As a matter of fact, that was the case. We are convinced. From now on, you will be the leader of the Wild Sand Bandits. Wild Sand Pirate King took a deep breath and said. In such a situation, they had no choice but to give in. If Chu Quanren wanted to kill them, it would be as easy as crushing ants. A wise move. Chu Quanren said indifferently. Then, he said, get ready. Take me to the fiery demon thief king and subdue him. Where is the heavenly wind thief king? Frenzied Sand Pirate King said. As the leader of the three great thief kings, the heavenly wind thief king's influence was the strongest, even stronger than the other two thief kings combined. After subduing the demon fire bandits, I will naturally look for him. If he is sensible, he will obediently hand over the master of the Black Blood Tower. Chu Quanren said indifferently. Not long after, the frenzied Sand Bandit King and the second-in-command brought Chu Quanren to the headquarters of the Flaming Demon Bandits, the Flaming Demon Star. Fire Demon Star. The Fire Demon Thief King and a few others were drinking. Suddenly, a robber rushed in. Boss, this is bad. The Wild Sand Thief King and the others are here. Hearing this, the originally joyful atmosphere suddenly changed. Devil Fire Thief King's eyes turned cold. Crazy Sand Thief King, are these guys finally going to attack us? Boss, let's fight it out with them. Our demon fire bandits are not easy to deal with either. Not bad, the Fire Demon Thief Monarch raised his hand, signaling everyone to be quiet. Then, he continued to ask, how many people and warships did the Wild Sand Pirates send? The bandit replied, 1 battleship, 3 at a glance. The Fire Demon Thief King was stunned. The others also revealed looks of disbelief. 3 people? Are you kidding me? The 3 of them actually dared to come to our Fire Demon Star. Is there something wrong with the Wild Sand Pirate King's head? Or is he plotting something? What the hell are they going to do? One had to know that Fire Demon Star was the territory of demon fire bandits. There were hundreds of thousands of demon fire bandits here, and there were countless emperors and empyreans. Not to mention that there was a master of the heavenly law like the Fire Demon Thief King keeping watch. Only 3 wild sand bandits came. Wasn't that courting death? Let's see what kind of game they're playing. The Fire Demon Thief King snorted. He brought his people out of Fire Demon Star and arrived in the Outer Realms. Here, a battleship was approaching, and hundreds of thousands of demon fire bandits filled the starry sky, surrounding it tightly. There were only 3 people on the warship. After the Fire Demon Thief King arrived, he immediately saw the Wild Sand Thief King and the Wild Sand Second-in-Command. Apart from them, standing at the front was a young man in white. His black hair reached his waist, and there was a sense of transcendence about him. What surprised the Fire Devil Thief King even more was the fact that the Wild Sand Thief King and the Fire Devil Thief King were standing on the left and right side of the young man, as if they respected him. Who is this person? The Fire Demon Thief King was a little surprised. He had a hunch that the Wild Sand Thief King's sudden action was related to this young man. Wild Sand Thief King, what are you doing here all of a sudden? The Fire Demon Thief King asked his people to be on guard, and then asked loudly. The Wild Sand Thief King rose into the air and said, I'm here to give you a chance. Submit to the young master, and I can guarantee your life. Submit? The fire demon thief king and the others were stunned. Then, they looked at the wild sand thief king in shock. Are you kidding me? The wild sand thief king actually submitted to someone else. Who is it? Young master. Is it this young man in white? You want us fire demon thieves to submit? Dream on. The fire demon thief king sneered and said, I didn't expect the dignified wild sand thief king to submit to someone else. You really disappoint me. The young master is someone who stands at the peak of the purple gold galaxy. Submitting to him is not something to be ashamed of. The wild sand thief king said lightly. That's you. I'm me. If you want me to submit, you have to ask the hundreds of thousands of brothers behind me if they agree. The fire demon thief king said coldly. Then, the aura of a heavenly Tao master erupted from his body. Like a tidal wave, it spread out and crushed towards the wild sand thief king. The wild sand thief king snorted coldly, and his aura also erupted. The two thief kings' auras collided, and they were equally matched. Then, the fire demon thief king made the first move. He took out a dark red broadsword and charged towards the wild sand thief king. The wild sand thief king took out his long spear and fought with his opponent. Both of their strengths were almost the same. When the broadsword and the long spear collided, it was a shocking sight. For a moment, they were evenly matched. The other bandits watched from the side without making a sound. Just when the wild sand thief king and the fire demon thief king were evenly matched, a few leaders of the fire demon thieves looked at Chu Kuangren. I wonder what kind of technique this person used to make the wild sand thief king submit to him. I'm afraid he's no ordinary person. Let me test this person. One of the leaders said coldly. In a flash, his figure turned into a stream of light and flew towards Chu Kuangren. At the same time, the heavenly Tao master's aura erupted. Beside him, the second leader snorted coldly and rushed out as well. While the two heavenly Tao masters were locked in battle, the other leaders took this opportunity to surround Chu Kuangren. Kid, tell me your name. A burly man with a mace in his hand sneered. Chu Kuangren stood still and did not reply. Seeing him like that, the few leaders frowned. They then looked at each other and rushed towards Chu Kuangren together. All kinds of techniques were unleashed together, and all kinds of energy swept towards Chu Kuangren. Its power shook the universe. Chu Kuangren still stood still, but when those energy attacks got close to him, they disintegrated and dissipated one by one. It was as if they had encountered an invisible barrier that they could not cross. What kind of power is this? It looks like mental power. One of the knowledgeable leaders said solemnly as he sensed something. Mental power was a form of soul energy. Soul cultivators were extremely rare in the universe. There were not many of them in the entire purple gold galaxy. No matter how strong his mental power is, do you think we'll lose to him if we join forces? One of the leaders said coldly. The few of them attacked again, and this time, it was an even more powerful energy attack. You're just a bunch of cultivators who haven't even reached the heavenly Tao master level. You're all too weak. Kneel down now, Chu Kuangren said. Then, he channeled his emperor's qi and mental power at the same time, intertwining with the Taoist patterns to form a mini-realm that completely enveloped the few leaders. Under the influence of the mini-realm, the few leaders were like ordinary people who were stuck in a quagmire. It was difficult for them to move. Then, spiritual weapons gathered in the void and pinned the few leaders to the ground. From the beginning to the end, Chu Kuangren did not even look at them. However, the strength that Shaoqin displayed with every move made many demon fire bandits suck in a breath of cold air, greatly startled. Chapter 902. What a powerful force. I can't believe a few of our leaders were defeated so easily. This is definitely the strength of a heavenly lord. Suddenly, one of the fiery bandits' eyes trembled violently. I remember now. This person is the Purple Star Bounty's Chu Kuangren. What? Poetic sword god Chu Kuangren. Someone could not help but exclaim. Chu Kuangren's identity was exposed, and the leaders could not help but be shocked. Not far away, the fiery bandit king gulped. No wonder the frenzied sand bandit king dared to come to the fiery bandit's base camp. It turned out that he had such a powerful being backing him up. Quick, let's attack together. The fiery bandit king roared. Instantly, hundreds of thousands of demonic fire bandits attacked together. All sorts of energies and moves surged out, gathering into a horrifying sea of energy. The aura was so strong that it shook the world. Even a heavenly lord would fall under such an attack. However, Chu Kuangren remained calm. In fact, he did not even try to hide. Instead, he walked straight towards the horrifying ocean of energy with countless mysterious Taoist patterns spreading out from his body. The Taoist patterns swirled and turned into a giant whirlpool. With a single thought, all techniques were reduced to dust. Countless energies were absorbed and dissolved by the whirlpool. Chu Kuangren was surrounded by all kinds of energy lights, emitting terrifying fluctuations that could shatter the void. However, none of them could penetrate the whirlpool and hurt him at all. How can this be? What a powerful defensive technique! How can he be so powerful? The group of fiery bandits trembled violently when they saw this. They felt like their scalps were about to explode, and their hearts almost stopped beating. All of you, stand down. Chu Kuangren said indifferently. As soon as he said that, a terrifying wave of Emperor's Qi swept out and attacked the fiery bandits around him. One by one, the warships were sent flying, and the fiery bandits were scattered in the starry sky by the Emperor's Qi. The poetic sword god lives up to his name. The fiery bandit king's gaze was extremely solemn. After sending the frenzied sand bandit king flying with a single slash, his figure turned into a stream of light and dashed towards Chu Kuangren. Capture their leader first. The fiery flame pirate king planned to deal with Chu Kuangren first. With a slash, a terrifying saber shadow burned with flames. The incomparably hot temperature caused the surrounding void to distort. Too weak. Chu Kuangren raised his hand and unleashed a punch. Invincible technique, reverse heaven and earth. With a loud bang, the majestic fist force shattered the saber's shadow and landed directly on the fire demon thief king's body, easily sending him flying. He defeated the fire demon thief king with one punch. This is the power of the poetic sword saint. The demon fire thief king crashed into a warship, creating a huge hole in it. He lay inside, his eyes filled with shock. You've only seen the tip of the iceberg. Chu Kuangren said indifferently. Allow me to ask, why did you subdue us? Destroy the purple star. The fire demon thief king's eyes lit up. He pondered for a moment before nodding. Since it's to deal with purple star, then I'm willing to join. Oh. Chu Kuangren was slightly surprised. He didn't expect the other party to be so straightforward. He thought that he was going to go on a killing spree again. Just like you, I have a grudge against Purple Star. At the mention of Purple Star, the fire demon thief king's eyes were filled with hatred. Back then, my orthodoxy offended the Purple Star sequence and was eventually annihilated by Purple Star. I had no choice but to escape into the disordered galaxy. With the help of the chaotic order here, I managed to survive Purple Star's pursuit. In the end, I founded the Fire Demon Thieves, hoping that one day, I'll have the chance to take revenge on Purple Star. Since you want to launch a crusade against Purple Star, I'm willing to help you. After listening to the Fire Demon Thief King, Chu Kuangren could not help but chuckle. This Purple Star has really offended a lot of people. He shook his head and said, all right then, we'll pay a visit to the Skywind Bandits in a few days. I'm looking for someone. The Skywind Bandits were the strongest bandit group in the disordered galaxy. The Skywind Bandit King was also known as the Bandit King. At the mention of this person, the two bandit lords' eyes turned solemn. However, when they saw Chu Kuangren, the solemn look in their eyes disappeared. In front of Chu Kuangren, the Skywind Bandits were nothing. They even thought that Chu Kuangren alone could wipe out the entire Skywind bandits even without them. They were probably there to cheer for him. At the Skywind bandits' headquarters, a muscular man was drinking with a black-robed middle-aged man. "Brother Black Blood, don't be depressed anymore. Although the Black Blood gang has suffered heavy losses this time, you, the king of assassins, are still alive. In time, you'll definitely be able to rebuild the Black Blood gang." The muscular man comforted the Black Blood gang's lord. He was the Skywind Bandit King, the leader of the 3 great bandit lords and the ruler of the disordered galaxy. The Black Blood gang's lord's mood improved when he heard that. That's right. Although the headquarters of the Black Blood gang is gone, there are still many assassins active in the various branches. As long as I'm here, the Black Blood gang will not perish. Ha, this is the king of assassins that I know. The Skywind Bandit King laughed. Then, he thought of something and asked, "Brother Black Blood, you've fought with Chu Kuangren before. Is his strength really as strong as the rumors say?" At the mention of Chu Kuangren, a rare look of fear flashed across the Black Blood gang's lord's eyes. This person's strength is definitely stronger than the rumors say. Especially his growth speed, it's shockingly fast. Tisk, if I have the chance, I'd really like to fight him. Don't, Brother Skywind. Let me give you a piece of advice. If you can avoid provoking this person, it's best not to. The Black Blood gang's lord said. Why, don't you want your revenge anymore? I do, of course I do. But it's too difficult. The Black Wind gang's lord sighed. I'm afraid it won't be long before this person truly stands at the peak of the galaxy. I'm afraid I'll never have my revenge then. It was obvious that Chu Kuangren had left a deep impression on him. Even the Sirius Star's heavenly path was defeated. What else could he do? Alright, let's not talk about this anymore. Let's drink. The Skywind Bandit King changed the topic. Suddenly, he sensed something and looked into the sky from afar. His eyes gradually turned cold. This aura, it's those 2 guys. The Skywind Bandit King snorted. In the sky, dozens of figures flew towards them. All of them were Dowlords, and the 2 leading them were the Frenzied Sand Bandit King and the Fiery Fire Bandit King. All the Skywind Bandits were alerted. Fiery Fire Bandit, Frenzied Sand Bandit, why are they here? Looks like they're not here with good intentions. The Skywind Bandit King snorted coldly before he leaped into the sky. Looking at the 2 bandit lords in front of him, he said coldly, "What's wrong? Fiery Fire Bandit and Frenzied Sand Bandit have joined forces to swallow us?" That's exactly what I'm thinking. The Frenzied Sand Bandit King said bluntly. You're asking for it. The Skywind Bandit King's aura suddenly exploded. His cultivation level was 1 level higher than the 2 bandit lords. He was a heavenly path master. The Black Blood gang's lord stood up and sneered at the 2 bandit lords. How dare you 2 offend my brother Skywind? You must be tired of living. Oh, what if I join as well? An indifferent voice was heard. An otherworldly figure descended from the sky. His majestic emperor's chi swept out and slammed into the void. When he saw who it was, the Black Blood gang's lord's eyes shrunk and revealed a look of fear. It's you. Chapter 903. What if I join in as well? An indifferent and cold voice sounded. Then, an unimaginably majestic emperor's chi erupted and swept across the entire Skywind planet. At that moment, the stars shook and the heavens and earth shook. A peerless white-robed figure had descended. The Black Blood Hall Master was instantly stunned when he saw who it was. His pupils trembled violently, revealing an obvious look of fear. It's you, Chu Kuangren. Upon hearing his voice, Chu Kuangren looked at him calmly and said, Yo, Black Blood Hall Master, how have you been? He could still greet him calmly. It was as if the person in front of him was not a mortal enemy. He was just an ordinary friend. However, the Black Blood Hall Master was terrified. He had almost walked out of the trauma, but when he saw Chu Kuangren, the fear in his heart could not help but surface again. Even if it was only a clone that died. However, that clone's consciousness was connected to his real body, so he could experience everything that happened to his clone. Especially when his opponent devoured the heavenly Tao and stripped him of his position as a Star Lord. He could not forget that feeling of helplessness. Chu Kuangren, what are you trying to do? The Black Blood Hall Master gritted his teeth and said. What do you think? My clone was killed by you, my heavenly Tao energy was taken by you, and the Black Blood Hall is almost gone. What else do you want? The Black Blood Hall Master yelled. The King of Assassins seemed a little wronged at that moment. Isn't uprooting the Black Blood Hall's specialty? Why is it that I'm the one bullying you now? Chu Kuangren said, amused. Beside him, the Skywind Bandit King looked at Chu Kuangren and said seriously, Poetic Sword God Chu Kuangren, I've long heard of your name, but what are you trying to do with the frenzied sand bandits and fiery fire bandits? Not only them, but you too, Skywind Bandit King. I can give you a chance now. Hand over the Black Blood Hall Master and surrender to me. That way, you can keep your life, Chu Kuangren said. In your dreams. The Skywind Bandit King snorted. His heavenly Tao late-stage aura erupted and a spear appeared in his hand. Poetic Sword God, show me what you've got. Boom. The heavenly wind bandit's figure instantly disappeared. In the next instant, it arrived above Chu Kuangren and smashed down with its spear. Its majestic energy was like a meteor falling from the sky. Chu Kuangren unleashed a punch. The star immortal body's physical strength completely erupted. Bang! The fist and the long spear collided with each other, resulting in a deafening explosion. The Sky Wind Bandit was pushed back a few hundred feet, and the long spear in his hand was trembling and buzzing. What terrifying physical strength! The Heavenly Wind Bandit was a little shocked. It was the first time he had seen such a terrifying physique. It was unbelievable. He raised his spear and attacked again. The long spear danced in the air, and the spear light flickered one after another. It was as if the sky was filled with stars, dazzling and dazzling. As Chu Kuangren channeled his mind power, surges of spiritual energy blades blasted out and collided with his opponent's spear lights. Brother Tianfeng, let me help you. The master of the Black Blood Hall roared. A fierce killing intent exploded and circulated in the void, turning into a scene of massacre. Thousands of ferocious spirits howled and charged towards Chu Kuangren. Alright, Heavenly Tempest Tornado. The Heavenly Wind Bandit King roared and cooperated with the master of the Black Blood Hall. The Taoist patterns on his body circulated, and with a thrust of his spear, a terrifying windstorm erupted. Within that windstorm was the majestic spear chi that could destroy the stars. Chu Kuangren smiled. With a lift of his arm, he activated the universal death technique. Circles of purplish-red light rippled outwards. Thousands of ferocious spirits and the majestic spear chi were shattered by that move. The poetic sword fairy truly lives up to his name. The Heavenly Wind Bandit King said with a serious look, but his battle intent was also burning. Be careful, he hasn't used his full strength yet. The master of the Black Blood Hall yelled. His clone had fought with Chu Kuangren before, so he knew that his opponent was a celestial master who was blessed by the heavenly Tao. Chu Kuangren had yet to use his unification Taoist mode. Who knew how many more trump cards this person had hidden? Everyone was stunned when they heard the master of the Black Blood Hall. No way. He hasn't even used his full strength. How powerful is this poetic sword fairy? Is he really a great Tao master? Divine Nine Dragons Transformation. Chu Kuangren channeled his mind power and drew a giant colorful rune in the void. 9 streams of dragon chi instantly surged into his body. In an instant, his aura rose steadily. Show me how much strength you have. Chu Kuangren said to the two of them. Good Lord, is this his true strength? The Heavenly Wind Bandit King said solemnly. I'm afraid, it's more than that. The master of the Black Blood Hall gulped. Chu Kuangren had yet to integrate his Taoist realm. The Heavenly Wind Bandit King was speechless. F***ck, just how insane is this guy? Scene of slaughter, ghostly king's form. The master of the Black Blood Hall pushed his emperor's Qi and Taoist Tao to their limits, and a ghostly king with 3 heads and 6 arms was formed. Chu Kuangren raised his arm and gathered 10,000 Taoist forms. Hundreds of different Taoist physiques rippled and spread, shaking the universe. Heavenly Wind Technique, Windstorm Battle Armor. The Heavenly Wind Bandit King let out a low roar. Countless Taoist patterns flowed on his body, and countless faintly discernible streams of qi attached to his body like a battle armor. Whoosh, the Heavenly Wind Bandit King's figure disappeared on the spot. His speed was so fast that not many of the Taoists present could catch his movements. However, Chu Kuangren's mind power was so strong that he could see everything clearly. Then, the descendant's self-sword on his waist was unsheathed and slashed to the side, colliding with the Heavenly Wind Bandit King's spear. On the other side, the myriad Taoist avatar and the ghostly king's form also clashed. Chu Kuangren was multitasking against 2 heavenly Taoists. In fact, it was not difficult for him at all. After all, he had 3 souls. Coupled with his powerful soul energy, he could multitask at any time. This was reflected in his combat instincts and reflexes, which made him a natural-born warrior. Clang clang clang, the descendant self-sword and the Heavenly Wind Bandit King's spear had clashed more than 100 times. Not far away, the battle between the myriad Taoist avatar and the ghostly king's form was also very shocking. The shockwaves from their battle spread out, making it difficult for anyone to get close. "It's time to end this," Chu Kuangren said. A Taoist seal floated above his head, and thousands of rays of light shone down. Honorable Emperor Sword Art. Chu Kuangren's descendant self-sword slash. The Emperor avatar formed, and with the support of the Taoist seal, a golden sword shadow slashed down, locking onto the Heavenly Wind Bandit King with an extremely domineering sword qi. Heavenly Tempest Tornado. The Heavenly Wind Bandit King attacked with his spear, causing a tornado to sweep across the area. However, that sword attack was too domineering. The tornado was easily torn apart. The Heavenly Wind Bandit King's windstorm battle robe was torn apart, and the giant sword shadow landed on his chest, almost cutting his emperor's body in half. His entire body was blasted away. The Heavenly Wind Bandit King was defeated. Brother Heavenly Wind. The Black Blood Hall's lord's expression changed drastically. "Don't worry, you're next." Chu Kuangren's voice rang out. With the support of the Taoist seal, the myriad Taoist avatar's power had increased by quite a bit. The ghostly king's form did not last long before it was destroyed. The Black Blood Hall's lord was punched into the ground by the avatar. Defeated. Chapter 904. Heavenly Wind Bandit King, Black Blood Tower Master. The 2 Skydao masters had suffered a crushing defeat, but Chu Kuangren was still standing in midair. His white robe was spotless, and even though he had just gone through a great battle, his aura was still as calm as ever. It was as if the battle did not affect him at all. This caused everyone to be extremely surprised. Just what level has this person's strength reached? He had easily defeated 2 late-stage Heaven Law Lords, and it seemed like he hadn't even used his full strength. In the entire Purple Gold Galaxy, only false immortals were capable of such a feat. Chu Kuangren, don't kill us. At this moment, the master of the Black Blood Tower roared, "You've subdued the Devil Fire Bandits and the Frenzy Sand Bandits, so you definitely need manpower to do something for you, right? I can make the killers of the Black Blood Tower work for you." He could guess what Chu Kuangren was thinking and immediately said. Upon hearing his words, Chu Kuangren's interest was piqued. "Your Black Blood Gang's headquarters have been destroyed. How much strength do you have left?" The Black Blood Tower has many branches in various places. With a single command from me, they can immediately assemble several 100,000 assassins. The Master of Black Blood Hall said. Interesting. Chu Kuangren's figure flashed and reappeared in front of the Black Blood Hall Master. With a flick of his finger, his emperor's chi circulated and formed a mystical rune. Open up your soul and don't put up any resistance. Otherwise, I'll kill you immediately. Anyway, your black blood hall won't affect me much. He threw the seal in his hand towards the black blood hall's master. That was the Imperial Soul Slave seal. The master of the Black Blood Hall did not dare to resist and obediently accepted the slave seal. Very soon, the slave seal was planted in the soul of the master of the Black Blood Hall. Master. After being implanted with the slave seal, the Black Blood Hall master immediately knelt before Chu Kuangren. His attitude was extremely respectful, and he did not have the demeanor of a king of assassins. Now, Heavenly Wind Thief King, do you submit? Chu Kuangren's gaze was like a torch as he looked at the Tianfeng Bandit King. The other party took a deep breath, cupped his hands and said, "From now on, the Tianfeng bandits are willing to listen to young master's orders." Very good. Now, I want you 3 bandit kings to work together to clean up the bandits in the astral chaos ocean. I'll give you 3 months. In 3 months, I want all the bandits in the chaotic star ocean to gather together and march on Purple Star. Chu Kuangren sneered. Hearing this, all the bandits' expressions changed. Marching to Purple Star. By the heavens, Chu Kuangren was planning to attack Purple Star. This guy was really crazy. However, their lives were now in Chu Kuangren's hands, so they could only do as Chu Kuangren said. There was no room for resistance. Furthermore, entering Purple Star, just thinking about it makes me excited. The Heavenly Wind Bandit's eyes revealed his desire to fight. As bandits, greed and tyrannical blood flowed through their veins. Marching into Purple Star, plundering its wealth, women, and even occupying the entire Purple Star civilization, they were extremely excited just thinking about it. Originally, they were no match for Purple Star. However, now that all the bandits in the disordered astral ocean had gathered into a single force, coupled with the hundreds of thousands of assassins from the Black Blood Gang, with Chu Kuangren as the leader, they might really be able to fight against the Purple Star Gang. The 3 bandit kings moved at the same time and began to organize the chaotic astral ocean. In the chaotic astral ocean, the bandit kings were the strongest. Just a single bandit king could sweep through a large area. Not to mention the fact that the 3 thief kings were working together. No one in the entire Chaos Star Ocean could compare to him. During this time, Chu Kuangren did not stop either. Using his immortal body, he entered the origin world with his consciousness and gained insight into another origin power, the immortal origin. That made his immortal body's self-healing ability even stronger. The immortal body is divided into 6 stages. I'm now at the 5th stage, particle rebirth. Perhaps when I completely control the immortal origin, I'll be able to advance to the 6th stage. Rebirth with a thought. Chu Kuangren's eyes lit up. The 6th stage of the immortal body was the truly terrifying part of the immortal body. As long as he had a thought, he could reconstruct his physical body. That had even surpassed the limits of a physical body. Ever since he stepped onto the path of cultivation, the immortal body could be said to be one of his strongest trump cards. Although it was only a god-tier reward, it was no less helpful to him than a supreme god's reward. Immortal, Flame, Lunar Radiance, Frost Tao, and Devour. Now that I've mastered 5 origin powers, if I were to add 2 more Dharma testimony seals, how terrifying will my combat strength be? I wonder if I can fight a false immortal. Chu Kuangren's eyes lit up. There was still some time before the disordered astral ocean was completely reorganized. After gaining insight into the immortal origin, Chu Kuangren set his sights on the planets in the disordered astral ocean, especially the largest grade 9 planet. That was the largest planet in the disordered astral ocean. Even in the entire purple gold galaxy, there were only a few planets that were bigger than this planet. The only planet that was bigger than this was the Eternal Star. Chu Kuangren set his sights on this planet. Once the bandits nearby were mostly cleared, he began to devour it. 3 months were almost over. The entire disordered astral ocean was almost completely reorganized. Countless bandits were united by the three pirate lords and only listened to Chu Kuangren's orders. On this day, the three pirate lords arrived at the place where Chu Kuangren devoured the planet. They could not help but exclaim when they saw the huge ball of light, the lava on its surface, the shattered mountains and rivers, and the mixed spiritual qi. Young master's methods are really too unimaginable. He can even do something like devouring a Class 9 planet. The frenzied sand pirate lord said emotionally. Do you guys think master can devour the eternal star too? Suddenly, the fiery flame pirate lord said on a whim. The few of them were shocked when they heard that. Stop joking. Although master can devour a grade 9 planet, a planet and an eternal star are two different things. How terrifying was the energy contained in an eternal star? It was on a completely different level from a planet. An eternal star was enough to support the development of an entire galaxy's civilization. The amount of energy it contained was unimaginable. For example, in the face of an eternal star's energy, even a false immortal would die without a doubt. Perhaps only true immortals could resist the power of an eternal star. Just as the few of them were chatting, the huge ball of light that was suspended in mid-air suddenly vibrated. Then, a series of thumping sounds echoed. That was the sound of a powerful heartbeat. Accompanying the sound of the heartbeat was a powerful shockwave. The few pirate lords could not help but be pushed back. What a terrifying heartbeat. Just a heartbeat alone is enough to push us back. Just how terrifying is master's physical body? Is there really someone who can train their body to this extent? This is just too ridiculous. The few of them were secretly speechless, feeling that it was unbelievable. Meanwhile, in the sky, the ball of light quickly shrunk. The eternal star's energy was quickly absorbed by Chu Kuangren. At this time, he was sitting cross-legged in the sky. Starlight shone around his body, and Taoist patterns intertwined and circulated. It was an extremely mysterious sight. Suddenly, rays of white light emitted from the pores on his body and condensed into a white mist. That mist made the few Sky Dao Lords' hearts palpitate. This feeling, could it be origin energy? The master of the Black Blood Tower sucked in a breath of cold air. Chapter 905. This feeling, could it be origin energy? The Black Blood Hall master took a deep breath. Origin energy was something that even the master of the Heaven Law yearned for. That was because origin energy was related to immortals. Gaining insight into origin energy was one of the conditions to become an immortal. In the Purple Gold Galaxy, only false immortals could gain insight into origin energy. Other than that, even the Sky Dao Master could not do it. Master, I can't believe you've gained insight into origin energy. To be able to gain insight into origin energy before becoming a Sky Dao Master is simply too powerful. You're definitely unique among the Purple Gold Galaxy's immortal seeds. The Fiery Fire Pirate King said with a tinge of envy. In space. Chu Kuangren slowly opened his eyes and looked at the white mist in his hand with a hint of surprise in his eyes. Interesting. Not only did my immortal stellar physique reach its peak after devouring a grade 9 planet, but I've also gained insight into my physical body's origin energy. Now, I have a total of 6 origin energies. Chu Kuangren smirked. 6 origin forces. This was an extremely terrifying thing. It was already difficult for an ordinary cultivator to gain insight into 1 origin energy, let alone 6. Moreover, Chu Kuangren's 6 origin energies were of different attributes. With the immortal stellar physique at its peak and this physical body's origin energy, my physical strength can easily kill the Sky Dao Master. I can even fight a peak Sky Dao Master. Moreover, that was just his physical strength. With the addition of other techniques, Chu Kuangren felt like he was about to break through the sky. If the immortal stellar physique at its peak is already this terrifying, then the complete immortal stellar physique should correspond to the realm of immortals. The highest realm of the immortal stellar physique. Physical immortal ascension. Physical immortal ascension was much more difficult than normal ascension, but once one succeeded, it would be much more terrifying than ordinary immortals. I don't know how many grade 9 planets I'll have to devour to achieve physical immortal ascension. If it's a star, Chu Kuangren looked at the dazzling sun that emanated endless light and heat in the distance and could not help but lick his lips. A star should be possible, but not this one. There are so many civilizations in the purple gold galaxy, including Firmament Star, that depend on it to survive. I'll look for one somewhere else in the future. He withdrew his body's source energy and the might of his body. Chu Kuangren returned to his transcendent self. How are the preparations going? He looked at the master of the Black Blood Hall and asked. Reporting to young lord, everything has been prepared. The chaotic star ocean has a total of over 108,000 warships and 113 million bandits. Once you give the order, they will head to Purple Star, the Heavenly Wind Bandit King said. The 760,000 assassins of the Black Blood Tower are ready as well. The master of Black Blood Hall said. Even though these 760,000 assassins seemed tiny compared to the 100 million bandits, all of them were experts in slaughter amongst cultivators, and most of them were above the Emperor realm. Young lord, we may have gathered a lot of forces, but Purple Star is no ordinary civilization. Moreover, if we march into Purple Star with so many people, we'll be discovered in no time. I'm afraid that before we even get close to Purple Star, we'll be attacked by Purple Star's vassal civilizations and defensive measures, the frenzied Sand Bandit King said. Purple Star was not to be trifled with for being able to stand tall in the purple gold galaxy for so many years. Many vassal civilizations obeyed their orders, and with Purple Star as the center, they had expanded their armies and fortifications. All these were enough to deter any forces that wanted to attack Purple Star. I'm aware of all this. I have a plan. Chu Kuangren said calmly. The few of them looked at each other. They did not know what Chu Kuangren was talking about, but he did not have the intention to continue. Let's go. Chu Kuangren said. All right. Hence, on this day, warships after warships carrying countless bandits left the chaotic star ocean and headed towards the Purple Star civilization. Naturally, such a huge movement could not be hidden from the major forces. Hence, on this day, the entire purple gold galaxy was shocked. Oh my god, what's going on in the chaotic star ocean? So many bandits have left the chaotic star ocean in full force. What are they trying to do? Are they trying to start a galactic war? Quickly go and investigate. Not a single force dared to ignore such a force. Just the Bandit King's faction alone was enough to warrant attention, let alone the entire chaotic star ocean's bandit nest. Soon, the major forces realized that the chaotic star ocean's bandits were heading in the same direction with a specific purpose. What did that mean? It meant that there was someone leading these bandits. This made everyone feel confused. Who was it? Who was so powerful that they could unify the entire chaotic star ocean? What was their goal? Continue to investigate. To be able to control the entire chaotic star ocean, this person is definitely not simple. This force is too powerful. With the 3 great bandit lords and the countless bandits in the chaotic star ocean combined, this force is enough to rival any top-tier civilization. Wait, this direction is, some forces had already noticed it. This group of bandits was heading straight for Purple Star. Crazy, these guys from the chaotic star ocean are definitely crazy. Are they planning to start a war with Purple Star? F***CK, this is too much. Do they have the strength to start a war with Purple Star? All the civilizations and orthodoxies were shocked by the chaotic star ocean's actions. They could not sit still and ordered their people to pay close attention to this matter. On the other side, in Purple Star. When Hall Master Ziwei received the information, her face was so gloomy that it was almost dripping water. Killing intent leaked from her body uncontrollably. Good, it seems that my Purple Star's prestige has really been swept to the ground. Even a group of bandits dare to cause trouble for us. Do they think that my Purple Star can't do anything to them just because my Purple Star's strength has been greatly damaged? Send out the order to all the subsidiary civilizations along the way. They want to become enemies with my purple star. I want them to be buried in the chaotic star ocean before they even see purple star. Hall Master Ziwei said with a gloomy expression. Next to her, Purple Star Heavenly Protector frowned. For the chaotic star ocean to suddenly make such a move, there must be someone behind it. Who is it? We have to figure this out. Yes, I have already sent people to investigate. I believe that we will have news soon, Hall Master Ziwei said. At this moment, several light years away from Purple Star, millions of warships had already arrived in front of Purple Star's first line of defense. This was a huge fortress built in the starry sky, and the person overseeing this fortress was a peak Great Dao Master. A Great Dao Master was nothing in front of several great thief lords. However, the troublesome thing was that this fortress had an extremely powerful defensive array. Once it was activated, even the Heavenly Dao Master would not be able to break through it. As long as the bandit army was stopped here, the subsidiary civilizations of Purple Star would send reinforcements. Once the experts of the various civilizations gathered, they would be able to start a war with the bandit army. If things went badly, this mighty bandit army would not even have a chance to see Purple Star's face before they were defeated here. If that really happened, the chaotic star ocean would probably become the laughingstock of the entire purple gold galaxy. Chaotic star ocean, what are you going to do? All the forces were looking forward to it. Chapter 906. With Purple Star as the center, there were countless defense lines built within 7 light years. Among them, 18 strongholds were the most famous. In order to attack Purple Star, they had to pass through these 18 strongholds. And now, the first stronghold was the ancient cold stronghold. The owner of this stronghold was a top-notch Great Dao Lord. He stood on the walls of the stronghold and looked at the mighty bandit army in the distance with disdain in his eyes. You're overestimating yourselves if you want to attack Purple Star. There are 18 strongholds, but you can't even pass through the first one. The owner of the ancient cold stronghold, Dao Lord Guhan, sneered. The 18 strongholds were built with Purple Star's full effort. Each stronghold was equipped with countless array formations and could be said to be indestructible. These bandits won't be able to break through the ancient cold stronghold. We just need to wait for the experts from other civilizations to eliminate them. Dao Lord Guhan thought to himself. Meanwhile, the various major factions were also paying attention to what the bandits would do. If they really stopped here, the chaotic ocean would become the biggest joke in the entire purple gold galaxy. Among the millions of warships, the 3 pirate lords looked at the ancient cold stronghold not far away. They could not help but frown when they saw the countless array formations circulating in the stronghold. They felt helpless. What should we do next? Let's stop first, the Tianfeng Pirate King said. If we go any closer, we'll crash into these array formations. There's no need to stop. At this moment, a voice came from within the warship. The 3 pirate lords and the Black Blood Hall Master looked at each other. If they did not stop, they would crash into them. We'll listen to young master. The Fire Demon Pirate King gritted his teeth and said. The millions of warships continued advancing toward the stronghold. When the various major factions saw this scene, they could not help but be shocked. What are they trying to do? If we go any closer, we'll crash into the array formations of the ancient cold stronghold. Are they tired of living? Looks like we'll crash into them and die. These bandits are indeed a bunch of suicidal lunatics. In the ancient cold stronghold, Dao Lord Guhan was also slightly surprised. He sneered and said, trying to forcefully break through. Foolish. Then, he said loudly, everyone, get ready. Once these bandits enter the attack range of the array formations, destroy them. Yes. The people in charge of all the major formations activated the formations. Not long later, the ancient Frost Fortress was surrounded by countless array formations. Killing arrays and trapping arrays were activated one after another. The million warships continued to advance. In front of him were countless restrictive formations. Just as the countless battleships were about to collide, a peerlessly tyrannical aura erupted. A large amount of Emperor Qi soared into the sky from one of the battleships, interweaving in the void to form an Emperor Dharma idol. There was a large amount of golden sword Qi circulating within the Emperor Dharma idol's palm, emitting a powerful immortal technique that shook the universe. This aura is... All the experts who were paying attention to this battle couldn't help but narrow their eyes, as if they had thought of something at the same time. The sword Qi in the palm of the giant Dharma idol transformed into a golden sword shadow that spanned across the heavens and earth and stretched for hundreds of millions of feet. Wherever the sword shadow went, the void cracked and the sky collapsed. Within billions of kilometers, countless stars trembled. This strike collided violently with the ancient cold fortress's restrictions. One by one, the formations and restrictions shattered and exploded. The entire ancient cold fortress was plunged into unprecedented turbulence. The fortress was in turmoil, and the cultivators were running for their lives. The stars lost their luster. Countless cultivators who were watching were even more dumbfounded. Tao Master Gu Han watched in a daze as the sword descended. As if it was tearing through thin paper, it easily tore apart the formations and restrictions of the 18 fortresses. The aftermath of the sword Qi swept past. Tao Master Gu Han didn't even have time to react before he was blasted into pieces by the terrifying sword Qi. After the sword strike, the originally majestic ancient cold fortress was split in half. Countless wreckages of battleships and fortress fragments floated in the starry sky. Although the sword Qi had dissipated, the terrifying pressure still lingered in the air, intimidating everyone who had witnessed this sword. Eliminate the remaining enemies. A cold voice sounded. The 3 bandit lords and the Black Blood Hall Master finally regained their senses. Fire! The Heavenly Wind Bandit King let out a long cry. Instantly, beams of energy shot out from the countless battleships. Like a storm, they bombarded the dilapidated ancient cold fortress. The Purple Star cultivators guarding the fortress were already scared out of their wits by that strike. They didn't have any room to organize a resistance. Soon, some were injured, some were dead, and some had escaped. The ancient cold fortress was destroyed. The bandits cheered excitedly and shouted loudly. In the void, the onlooking cultivators gradually regained their senses. However, they still couldn't help but feel shocked when they saw the dilapidated ancient cold fortress. If I'm not mistaken, that strike just now was poetic sword god Chu Kuangren's immortal technique, right? A cultivator said with a trembling voice. That's right, it's him. My heavens, just what level has this person's strength reached? This fortress was actually destroyed by a single slash of his sword. He's too powerful. Poetic sword god Chu Kuangren once said that he wanted to let the Purple Star cultivators have a taste of what it feels like to be destroyed. It seems like he was telling the truth. I just didn't expect him to gather all the bandits in the disordered galaxy. The Purple Star cultivators have offended a powerful person this time. Countless cultivators discussed among themselves. Meanwhile, the major forces also realized that the disordered galaxy's operation this time was led by Chu Kuangren. The eyes of the strong cultivators who were secretly ordered by the Purple Star cultivators to hunt down and kill them lit up as an impulse quickly spread in their hearts. An impulse to run to Chu Kuangren's aid. The Purple Star cultivators once sent the Black Blood gang to hunt us down. If we don't die, I'm afraid they won't let this matter rest. There's a way to solve this once and for all. As long as we help Chu Kuangren take care of the Purple Star cultivators, we'll have our revenge and won't have to worry about the Purple Star cultivators coming after us again. Purple Star, I still need to settle the score with them. All of a sudden, the strong cultivators who were hunted down in the past began to make their moves. Meanwhile, in the Purple Star cultivators, upon learning that Chu Kuangren was the mastermind, Palace Master Ziwei stomped her feet in anger. Chu Kuangren, Chu Kuangren. It's this guy again. I haven't even settled the score with him the last time, and he's here again. Good, good. If that's the case, then let's settle the score with him as well. Gather some men, I'll personally go to war and fight this person. Palace Master Ziwei said coldly. At that moment, The Purple Star Sky Protector beside her said, Palace Master, the forces that Chu Kuangren has gathered in the disordered galaxy are no longer to be underestimated. I'm afraid it's inappropriate for us to go to war without careful consideration. Why don't we just wait and see? Wait and see. That's right. No matter how strong Chu Kuangren is, he'll lose at least 90% of the people he leads if he wants to break through the 18 lines of defense and reach the Purple Star cultivators. Then, we'll gather the Purple Star forces and annihilate him and his motley crew in one fell swoop. The Purple Star Sky Protector said coldly. What the Sky Protector says makes sense. Then let's wait for him to come. Palace Master Ziwei said coldly. Chapter 907. Chu Kuangren had personally led countless bandits from the disordered galaxy to attack the Purple Star Alliance. The news quickly spread throughout the Purple Gold Galaxy. All the civilizations and orthodoxies were shocked to the core. The name of poetic sword god Chu Kuangren was once again pushed to the forefront. Poetic sword god Chu Kuangren is too crazy to do something like this. I thought he was just joking, but I didn't expect him to actually declare war on the entire Purple Star Alliance. Not only did he declare war, but he also dragged all the bandits from the disordered galaxy into this mess. My goodness, I can't afford to offend him in the future. Tisk tsk, what a monster, the Purple Gold Galaxy is going to be lively. Compared to the onlookers, the affiliated civilizations of the Purple Star Alliance were on high alert. If the Purple Star Alliance was destroyed, they would not be any better. The Purple Star Alliance had issued a death order to keep Chu Kuangren and the bandits from the disordered galaxy out of the Purple Star Alliance. They would kill as many as they could. It was obvious that the Purple Star Alliance was using them as cannon fodder. However, they had no other choice. As Purple Star Alliance's affiliated civilizations, their lifelines were in the hands of the Purple Star Alliance. If they disobeyed, the Purple Star Alliance could annihilate them at any time. In an instant, all the great civilizations made their moves. They gathered their troops and headed towards Chu Kuangren's location. A galactic war had just begun. Somewhere in space. The second of the 18 strongholds. Chu Kuangren swung his sword, and a gigantic sword shadow split the entire stronghold in half, just like how he split the ancient Frost stronghold. That earth-shattering sword strike sent chills down everyone's spines. Chu Kuangren's combat strength is too terrifying. I'm afraid even a peak Heavenly Dao Master might not be able to unleash that attack. He's a monster. Countless people were shocked. The combat strength that Chu Kuangren had displayed was completely different from his actual age. It was beyond everyone's understanding. Amidst the deafening explosion, the stronghold collapsed. Suddenly, a large number of cultivators emerged from the collapsed stronghold and charged towards the bandits. Kill him. Whoever kills Chu Kuangren will be rewarded with 100 billion spiritual pith. Some of these cultivators were from the various affiliated civilizations of the Purple Star Alliance, while some were from the local strongholds. A bloody battle broke out in the starry sky. Chu Kuangren was extremely calm when he saw that. As he channeled his mind power, countless spiritual power weapons swept out in all directions. All the cultivators who approached him were killed one by one. The battle lasted for a day and a night. In the end, Chu Kuangren's side emerged victorious. Young master, we lost a total of 1.68 million people in this battle, including monarchs. Tianfeng Bandit King wanted to report the losses. However, Chu Kuangren waved his hand and said indifferently, I don't need to know about that. As long as they're not all dead, let's move on. Hearing this, the Bandit Kings felt a chill in their hearts. At this moment, only then did they truly realize that they were merely tools that Chu Kuangren was using to exact his revenge on Purple Star. Their deaths were nothing to Chu Kuangren, and he did not even bother to put on an act. I know all of you are dissatisfied, hate me, and blame me, but none of that matters. I just want to destroy the Purple Star civilization, and all of you want the wealth of the Purple Star civilization, right? I have the ability to help you achieve this. That is all you need to know. Chu Kuangren said indifferently. But young master, if this goes on, most of our people will be dead by the time we reach the Purple Star civilization. How are we supposed to fight against the Purple Star civilization then? Frenzied Sand Bandit King took a deep breath and said. I've said that you don't need to worry about that. Just do as I say, Chu Kuangren said. Well. Alright then. No matter how dissatisfied the Bandit Kings were, there was no turning back now. The disordered galaxy's bandits were all greedy to the core, and they had long been hooked by the Purple Star civilization's wealth. Especially after witnessing Chu Kuangren's powerful strength, they saw the possibility of achieving that goal. Now, it was basically impossible for them to turn back and return to the disordered galaxy. The bandit army continued to move forward. The third stronghold. The fourth stronghold. The fifth stronghold. Before the eighth stronghold, the bandit army that Chu Kuangren led had lost more than 20% of its members. The closer they got to the Purple Star civilization, the stronger the resistance they encountered. Even the Heavenly Tao Masters had joined the battle. The forces of the Purple Gold Galaxy understood that it would be extremely difficult for the bandit army to break through the 18 lines of defense and reach the Purple Star civilization. They would have to lose more than 90% of their forces to succeed. Using less than 10% of their forces to fight against the entire Purple Star civilization. It was impossible no matter how they thought about it. The Windy Sky Bandit King and the others were getting anxious. After all, they were the ones who had lost their people in the series of battles. However, they dared not disobey Chu Kuangren. After a huge battle, the bandit army was resting. Chu Kuangren looked into the distant starry sky and murmured, "This distance should be enough. Let's begin then." Begin? Begin what? The few thief kings were somewhat puzzled. You guys wait here. Chu Kuangren said. Then, his figure flashed and disappeared on the spot. Not long after. He traveled a few light years and arrived above the Purple Star civilization. Then, with a thought, the originally calm space behind him began to shake violently, forming circles of ripples. Every strong cultivator in the Purple Star civilization sensed the incredibly powerful spatial fluctuations, and they all looked toward the outer domain. Their emperor's thoughts began to probe the source of the spatial fluctuations. What a powerful spatial fluctuation! Who is it? It's him. It's the poetic sword god, Chu Kuangren. How dare he come to the Purple Star civilization alone? Also, what is he doing? All the strong cultivators in the Purple Star civilization were shocked. Meanwhile, a few light years away. At the bandit army's location. After Chu Kuangren left, 2 rays of light flew out from the warship. It was 2 Chu Kuangrens. The Windy Sky Bandit King and the others were extremely shocked. No, it's a soul form. But why is Master's soul form here? And there are 2 of them too. What's going on? Everyone was confused. However, Chu Kuangren's Earth Soul and Human Soul did not explain much. My true self has begun to move. Then let us begin as well. The Earth Soul and Human Soul looked at each other. Then, they took out a silver-white round plate and tossed it into the air. The round plate radiated with a boundless brilliance. 9 circles rotated and turned into a 3-dimensional device, and a powerful spatial fluctuation quickly spread. It was the time-space mirror. The spatial fluctuation shrouded the starry sky, and circles of ripples appeared in the void, forming a huge spatial portal. Everyone, enter the portal. Chu Kuangren's Earth Soul said. The Windy Sky Bandit King and the others immediately understood. Everyone, enter the portal. On the other side, on the Purple Star civilization. Countless strong cultivators came to the outer domain and stared at Chu Kuangren. Especially the Purple Star Palace Lord, whose eyes were filled with cold murderous intent. Chu Kuangren, how dare you come to the Purple Star civilization alone? You must have a death wish. Oh, alone? In that case, please open your eyes wide and take a good look. I'm not alone here. Chu Kuangren chuckled. Behind him, one warship after another emerged from the void. It was endless, as if there was no end to it. Soon, the sky above the Purple Star civilization was densely packed with hundreds of thousands of warships, as well as the ferocious bandits. After today, the Purple Star civilization will become history, Chu Kuangren said calmly. Chapter 908. One after another, warships appeared behind Chu Kuangren. Countless bandits shrouded the area, and everyone looked at the scene in shock. Chu Kuangren was originally alone in space, but now so many people had appeared out of thin air. How did he do it? Whoosh, two streams of light flew over and entered Chu Kuangren's body. The Earth soul and human soul returned. The temporal mirror also returned to his body. A spatial technique. Ziwei Palace Lord stared at Chu Kuangren with a grim expression. She knew that Chu Kuangren had spatial techniques, but she did not expect him to use them to do something like this. It was unimaginable that he could move such a large number of warships and bandit troops across several light years. What cultivation realm was this guy at? That was everyone's question. However, they did not know that it was not an easy task to move so many warships and cultivators to the Purple Star realm. Even Chu Kuangren had to rely on the temporal mirror's help. Moreover, there was a distance restriction. That was why he had led the disordered astral ocean's people towards the Purple Star realm. He could only move them over when they had reached a certain distance. If his cultivation level was higher, the disordered astral ocean's bandits would not even need to leave the astral ocean. They could directly move from the astral ocean to the Purple Star realm without attacking a single fortress. Ziwei Palace Lord, it's time to settle the score between us today, Chu Kuangren said indifferently. His eyes flashed with a chilling intent. Ever since the Purple Star realm sent people to the Firmament Star to destroy it, there was no way he could reconcile with the Purple Star realm. It was either his death or the Purple Star realm's destruction. Ha, Brother Chu, how can you leave us out if you want to destroy the Purple Star realm? At that moment, a burst of laughter was heard. Not far away, a group of figures flew out. One of them was the mystic moon Taoist master. Behind him were Yang Xiao, the loose cultivator, and Tian, the lion ridge Taoist master, and the other Taoists who had helped Chu Kuangren before. Brother Mystic Moon, why are you guys here? Chu Kuangren was rather surprised. The Purple Star realm has hired the Black Blood gang to assassinate us. We will not let this go so easily. The Mystic Moon Taoist master sneered. The other Tao lords looked at Hall Master Ziwei and the others with cold eyes. They had a grudge with Purple Star. That's right, we've been in the vicinity for a long time. Originally, we wanted to see how many people fellow Taoist Chu brought. If there's no chance of victory, we won't interfere. If there's a lot of people, we'll give it a try. Yang Xiao chuckled. He glanced at the countless bandits behind Chu Kuangren with a look of admiration in his eyes. Even if we were to stretch our imaginations to the max, we would never have thought that Brother Chu would be able to bring so many people with you. What a surprise. With so many people, it's time to fight Purple Star. Ha, come on. Purple Star, I'll settle the score with you for getting someone to assassinate me today. Everyone was excited. They rubbed their palms together and were full of fighting spirit. They couldn't wait to have a big fight. Hall Master Ziwei sneered, if you want to destroy my Purple Star, let's see if you have the strength. Hall Master Ziwei then took out a token and tossed it into the air. That token then transformed into a dozen rays of light that shot towards various parts of Purple Star. Suddenly, waves of powerful auras erupted all over Purple Star. Who dares to invade my Purple Star? Do you have a death wish? Voices came one after another from Purple Star. Then, more than a dozen figures flew over, and each of them was the Heavenly Tao Master. Oh, so this is the hidden strength of Purple Star. It's indeed extraordinary, the Sacred Moon Tao Lord said solemnly. They knew better than anyone that the Heavenly Tao Master was hiding in Purple Star. The only question was this all they had? Today, it doesn't matter if it's Chu Kuangren, the Disordered Galaxy, or anyone else. Anyone who dares to invade Purple Star must die. Hall Master Ziwei said coldly. As soon as she finished. On Purple Star, streaks of light and battleships soared into the sky as the two armies faced off against each other, their swords drawn. Ha, let's see who's going to die then. Chu Kuangren waved his hand. Instantly, the bandit army behind him charged towards the Purple Star army. At the same time, the Purple Star cultivators also charged towards them. Waves of violent energy exploded in the starry sky, and the energy beams fired by the battleship were also continuously fired out. The entire starry sky trembled violently. The great battle had begun. Kill. Prioritize killing Chu Kuangren. Soldiers against soldiers, generals against generals. The charge of the army was like two torrents crashing into each other. Meanwhile, the Heavenly Tao Masters had also found their respective opponents. The Purple Star Army had more than a dozen Heavenly Tao Masters, but Chu Kuangren had quite a number of them as well. The Sacred Moon Tao Lord, Yang Shao, the Lunar Palace Lord, the three Pirate Lords, Chu Kuangren alone was facing 4 Heavenly Tao Masters. Kid, you're so young and yet you're able to stir up so much trouble. If you're allowed to live, I'm afraid the Purple Star will be in grave danger in the future, a white-haired elder said coldly. The Emperor's chi on his body boiled as Taoist patterns circulated and gathered the surrounding starlight into a surging galaxy that charged towards Chu Kuangren. It was the Purple Star celestial technique, galactic apocalypse. The Purple Star is gone today. How can there be a future? Chu Kuangren stood still on the spot as he casually threw out a punch. The terrifying fist energy exploded and shattered the Milky Way into pieces. Then, he took a step forward and arrived before the white-haired elder. He clenched his fist and smashed it towards the elder's chest. This punch was ordinary and not exquisite at all. However, that ordinary punch made the elder's pupils dilate as he felt an unprecedented threat. Starlight Shield. The elder activated his Emperor's chi and formed a light shield. Boom! There was a loud explosion. That starlight shield was shattered by Chu Kuangren's punch and turned into specks of starlight that filled the sky. However, that punch was still as powerful as ever. It landed on the elder's arm and landed on his chest. The elder spat out a mouthful of blood as he was sent flying and smashed through several battleships. His body floated in the void with his right hand hanging limply. His chest had caved in, and his aura had weakened by half. He looked at Chu Kuangren with a horrified expression. What? What kind of monstrous strength is this? Chu Kuangren had injured him, the Sky Lord, with just one punch. If it were not for the starlight shield that blocked most of the attack, that punch would have killed him on the spot. This kind of physical strength, he had never heard of it before. I can't believe his strength has increased so much. Hall Lord Ziwei's pupils shrunk. The Mystic Moon Sect Master and the others were also shocked. Brother Chu's cultivation may not have changed much since the battle at the Mystic Moon Ancient City, but his strength has improved tremendously. His cultivation hasn't improved much, but his combat strength is unimaginably strong. How did he do it? Ha, no wonder he was able to tame these unruly bandits in the chaotic astral ocean. Chapter 909. This person's strength is not to be underestimated. A heavenly lord alone is no match for him. Get into formation. The other 3 heavenly lords who were fighting Chu Kuangren were shocked. Then, the Taoist patterns on their bodies activated and each of them took up a position, surrounding Chu Kuangren in a triangular formation. Oh, a formation. Aside from the Tao of cultivation, Chu Kuangren had also cultivated many other Taos. He was proficient in formations, alchemy, equipment refinement, and runes. He could tell what the 3 heavenly lords' formation was with just a glance. Heaven, earth, human, ternary formation. The 3 heavenly lords shouted in unison. The Taoist patterns on their bodies resonated with each other, forming an invisible force field in the void that completely enveloped Chu Kuangren. Even a peak heavenly lord would be suppressed by 2 realms in the ternary formation, let alone a heavenly lord like you. One of the heavenly lords sneered. Not far away, the Purple Star Heavenly Protector and Hall Master Ziwei smiled when they saw that. They looked at Chu Kuangren as if he was a turtle in a jar. I've experienced the power of the ternary formation before. When the three Supreme Elders cast it together, no one below the false immortal realm can stop it. Let's see how he's going to escape from this formation. The Divine Moon Tao Lord and the others frowned. Quick, go destroy the formation. Yang Xiao said. The others wanted to do the same, but they were stopped by the Purple Star Heavenly Lords. They did not even have a chance to escape. Take care of yourselves first. That's right. Do you think you have the time to worry about others? Today, not only Chu Kuangren, but all of you will die as well. Compared to the others, Chu Kuangren was much calmer inside the formation. He looked calm and did not feel like he was in danger at all. To him, this level was not even a problem at all. How could it be considered a dangerous situation? You think you can defeat me with this formation? You think too highly of yourselves, Chu Kuangren said. Let's try it then. One of the heavenly lords snorted. Chu Kuangren's nonchalant attitude annoyed him. Attack! The three heavenly lords attacked at the same time. With the help of the formation, not only could they suppress their enemy's strength, but they could also increase their own combat strength. The three of them activated their respective immortal arts. The starlight in the starry sky gathered towards them, forming three incomparably resplendent galaxies. A terrifying surge of energy erupted as three star rivers that carried majestic Taoist patterns and Emperor's Qi rushed towards Chu Kuangren. Chu Kuangren stood still and channeled his mind power. His Emperor's Qi and mind power swirled around him, forming an invisible vortex. The three star rivers were sucked into the vortex and gradually disintegrated. However, the formation was so powerful that the power of Chu Kuangren's attack was limited, and a portion of its power actually hit his body. The three heavenly law lords sneered when they saw this. So what if it's a supreme defensive move? Under the restriction of this ternary strange formation, how much power can your moves display? Die! Three masters of the heavenly law plus the Emperor's Qi. The Milky Way's power became even more terrifying, and Chu Kuangren was shrouded in these three Milky Ways, so no one could see what was going on inside. However, everyone knew that in the purple gold galaxy, not many people would be able to survive such an attack. Even Chu Kuangren would not be able to survive. I bet there's nothing left of this guy now. Hall Master Ziwei sneered with a hint of satisfaction on his face. It's all over now. That's right. The three heavenly law lords looked at each other. They believed that even a hollow immortal would be injured by their attack. Not to mention a great Taoist. He would definitely be dead. Over. You must be dreaming. At that moment, an indifferent voice suddenly resounded throughout the universe. When the starlight energy dissipated, everyone saw a peerless white-robed figure standing in the air within the ternary strange formation. Radiance swirled around him, making him look extremely transcendent. Chu Kuangren glanced at the three heavenly law lords and said calmly, "Is this all you've got?" How disappointing. The three heavenly law lords widened their eyes. How is this possible? How did he manage to withstand our attack? And he's unharmed too. It was not only the three heavenly law lords who were in the formation. The other purple star Taoist masters could not help but gasp. The ternary strange formation formed by the three heavenly law lords was incredibly powerful. In the purple star Taoist sex records, they had never been defeated before. Yet now, they could not even hurt Chu Kuangren. How did you do it? One of the heavenly law lords could not help but ask. Is it that difficult? Chu Kuangren retorted. After all, his physical body had already reached the peak of the starlight immortal physique realm. An ordinary heavenly law lord would not even be able to hurt him. On top of that, he had the Dharma restoration technique and a heavenly Tao weapon as his defense. The three-star rivers did not even break through his defenses. Even if they did, he still had the immortal body to protect him. It's impolite not to reciprocate, Take this attack from me, Chu Kuangren said. As his mind power circulated, a giant colorful rune appeared in the void. The rune then turned into 9 streams of dragon qi that entered Chu Kuangren's body, instantly increasing his aura. Then, the phoenix flames, Emperor's qi, Taoist qi, and Taoist marks appeared in the void one after another, turning into circles of purplish-red light. With a single thought, the heavens and earth perished. Boom, boom, boom. The void exploded. Under the impact of the purplish-red light, the Triuan strange formation shattered. Naturally, the 3 Taoists who were in the formation were the first to bear the brunt of the attack. They were hit by the purplish-red light and were blasted away with blood spewing from their mouths. One of the heavenly law lords took the brunt of the attack. His body could not take it anymore, and his physical body exploded into a bloody mist. Don't think this is the end, Chu Kuangren chuckled after breaking the formation. The next moment, his body disappeared and reappeared in front of the heavenly law lord who was blasted away. Then, the descendant self-sword was unsheathed. A purple sword ray sliced through the sky. The heavenly law lord, who was already heavily injured, was torn in half without any resistance. The second one. Chu Kuangren chuckled. As his mind power circulated, thousands of spiritual power weapons gathered and aimed at another heavenly law lord. The weapons rained down like a torrential downpour. Starlight shield. That person roared and gathered the starlight to form a shield. However, it was useless. The starlight shield shattered with a bang. The heavenly law lord was instantly shredded into a bloody mist. The third one. Chu Kuangren chuckled. Amethyst celestial sword slash. At that moment, the heavenly law lord, who was blasted away by Chu Kuangren's punch, raised his emperor's essence to its limit and unleashed a sword slash with all his might. The starlight in the sky condensed into a gigantic sword that slashed out with immense power. Let me show you what a sword is. Chu Kuangren held the descendant self-sword in his hand as his emperor's essence circulated. An emperor avatar was formed, and thousands of sword chi swirled in the avatar's palm before they formed into a domineering golden sword shadow. It was domineering and sharp. It was as if this sword was the only one in the world. It was the emperor's sword. The honorable emperor's sword art reigned supreme in this universe. When the 2 sword shadows collided, the starlight sword was shattered without any resistance. The sword shadow then landed on the heavenly law lord's body and instantly killed him. The fourth one. Chu Kuangren said. He stood proudly in his snow-white robe. He had broken the formation and killed the heavenly law lord. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. Chapter 9-10. The 4 heavenly Tao masters were killed in the blink of an eye. Everyone present was frightened. That was a heavenly Tao master. He was one of the most powerful cultivators in the purple gold galaxy, not some common cabbage. Yet, he was killed just like that. This was simply too unimaginable. Palace Lord Ziwei, the purple star heavenly protector, and the others looked extremely serious. They looked at Chu Kuangren as if he was the greatest enemy they had ever met. Let my doppelganger fight with him. Hall Master Ziwei released several war puppets, and all of them were powerful existences at the level of a heavenly law master. Not only that, but Palace Lord Ziwei's emperor's thoughts were also stored in these battle puppets, which were equivalent to his clones. As expected of the Purple Star sect. They even have heavenly Tao master battle puppets. The Mystic Moon Taoist master and the others were amazed. However, they were not afraid. They could tell that Chu Kuangren's display of strength had given them a lot of confidence. The battle puppets were not afraid of death, and they were not much weaker than the heavenly Tao masters from before. Meanwhile, a pair of eagle-like eyes stared at Chu Kuangren from afar. It was a middle-aged man with a stocky build. He held a black longbow in his hand as he stood on an uninhabited star. Chu Kuangren, you are indeed powerful. But it's easier to dodge an open spear than a hidden arrow. Do you think you can dodge my hidden arrow? The middle-aged man was also a heavenly Tao master. However, compared to the other heavenly Tao masters, he was most proficient in archery and assassination. Hence, in the Purple Star sex records, he was known as the Dark Arrow Taoist. The Dark Arrow Taoist pulled the bowstring, and a pitch-black arrow instantly formed, locking onto Chu Kuangren, who was fighting the battle puppet. Whoosh! The arrow pierced through the air and pierced into the void. That was right. This arrow actually disappeared into the void. It was a dark arrow. Only something that was difficult to detect was called a dark arrow. At that moment, Chu Kuangren, who was fighting the battle puppet, did not know that an arrow was flying towards him from tens of millions of kilometers away. When he sensed it, the arrow was less than a kilometer away from him. A kilometer was nothing to the dark arrow. It only took 1,000th of a blink of an eye. Oh, interesting. Chu Kuangren thought, and an invisible whirlpool formed around him. With a single thought, all techniques returned to nothingness. As soon as the vortex was formed, the dark arrow had already arrived. If Chu Kuangren had been a moment slower, he would have been hit by this arrow. Although it might not cause any harm to him, the feeling of being plotted against still made him feel very uncomfortable. Chu Kuangren stared coldly at the black arrow in the vortex. Since you want to play with bows and arrows, I'll play with you till the end. With a thought, the black arrow was shattered. Then, he threw a few punches in a row and sent the battle puppet flying. At the same time, he used his telekinesis to probe the direction of the arrow. However, there was no sign of the archer. Oh, I've changed places. But where do you think you can go? Chu Kuangren sneered. His psyche power spread and covered the entire battlefield, looking for traces of the archer. Next to him, a puppet fighter suddenly rushed up. Get lost! Chu Kuangren clenched his fist and unleashed his full physical strength. With a single punch, the battle puppet was instantly shattered into pieces. Found it. All of a sudden, Chu Kuangren narrowed his eyes and looked at an uninhabited planet tens of millions of kilometers away. A middle-aged man was aiming at him with a bow. Oh, I've been discovered. The Dark Arrow Taoist was a little surprised. I heard that this person knows how to use his telekinesis. It seems that his senses are very powerful. But so what? I'm tens of millions of kilometers away from him. Moreover, I'm separated by half of the battlefield. Even if he can sense me, what can he do to me? The Dark Arrow Taoist chuckled. That was his confidence as an archer. Long-range attacks were the specialty of archers. Wait a minute, what's he doing? Suddenly, the Dark Arrow Taoist was shocked. He saw Chu Kuangren raise his left hand and put it at the same level as his left. This action is. The Dark Arrow Taoist's pupils dilated. He was very familiar with that action. That was the action of shooting an arrow. A purplish-red longbow appeared in Chu Kuangren's hand. Taoist patterns flowed on the bow, and one could tell that it was no ordinary item. At the very least, the Dark Arrow Taoist felt that the bow in his hand was far inferior to his opponent's. Does he know archery too? Then, he sensed an incredibly powerful immortal technique fluctuation from Chu Kuangren's body. This is, the Dark Arrow Taoist's heart skipped a beat. He suddenly had a very bad feeling. For Divine Sun Archers, Vermilion Bird. Buzz, the bowstring was released, and a purplish-red arrow pierced through the air. In the blink of an eye, it crossed the battlefield and flew towards the Dark Arrow Taoist. Not good. The Dark Arrow Taoist's pupils shrank when he sensed the power of that arrow. He wanted to escape immediately. However, that arrow suddenly turned into a purplish-red vermilion bird. The vermilion bird's wings circled, and thousands of fiery feathers turned into thousands of arrows that surrounded him, sealing off his path of retreat. D***, that's the Li family's 4 Divine Sun Archers. How does Chu Kuangren know such an archery technique? He had long heard of the Li family's 4 Divine Sun Archers and had seen it before, but he did not expect Chu Kuangren to know it too. Moreover, Chu Kuangren was better than anyone else from the Li family. For Divine Sun Archers, Azure Dragon. The vermilion bird arrow sealed off the dark arrow Daoist's path of retreat. Following that, the azure dragon also pierced through the air and transformed into a ferocious azure dragon. Faced with such a powerful attack, the dark arrow Daoist drew his bowstring and performed an immortal archery technique as well. Dark arrow, falling moon. The arrow pierced through the air, bringing with it a chilling aura. It collided with the azure dragon, and the void instantly exploded. For divine sun archers, white tiger. However, before the dark arrow Daoist could react, another arrow pierced through the air. A ferocious white tiger roared as it crossed the battlefield. This time, the dark arrow Daoist could not defend himself in time and was blasted away by the white tiger arrow. His body exploded on the spot. Chu Kuangren killed a Sky Dao master with 3 arrows from tens of millions of miles away. The first arrow sealed off his opponent's path of retreat, the second arrow destroyed his opponent's resistance, and the third arrow annihilated him. Everyone was dumbfounded by what they saw. They had never heard that Chu Kuangren knew archery as well. Just how many more trump cards does this guy have up his sleeves? What a terrifying archery technique. That bow of his is no ordinary heavenly Dao weapon either. Especially that string, it gives me a palpitating feeling. That's a immortal tendon. He's too powerful. He's just too powerful. Just how many more trump cards does Chu Kuangren have up his sleeves? Everyone stared at Chu Kuangren with shock in their eyes. A powerful enemy was no doubt terrifying, but a powerful enemy whose trump cards could never be seen was even more despairing. And Chu Kuangren was such an enemy. Even Palace Lord Ziwei could not help but feel a little fearful against such an existence. However, since things had come to this, there was no turning back for her and Chu Kuangren. Now, all she wanted to do was to destroy Chu Kuangren. Chu Kuangren, you shall die today. Palace Lord Ziwei took a step forward and unleashed the peak Sky Dao Master's aura. The strongest Daoist at the scene immediately faced Chu Kuangren. Chapter 9:11. Palace Lord Ziwei had personally made a move to suppress Chu Kuangren. The Lord of the Heavenly Dao's pinnacle battle prowess was completely unleashed. He took a step forward and arrived in front of Chu Kuangren. As he lifted his arm, streaks of dazzling Milky Way swirled around and smashed towards Chu Kuangren. Every star river was powerful enough to kill a late-stage Heavenly Dao Lord, and Hall Master Ziwei was currently controlling tens to hundreds of star river. It could be seen how high Hall Master Ziwei's cultivation was. Even if he couldn't compare to a pseudo-immortal, he wasn't far from it. Chu Kuangren looked at the incoming Milky Way and activated his starlight immortal physique to its limit as he punched out with both his fists. Fist shadows appeared one after another, and the force shattered the starry sky. The star rivers exploded one after another. Extreme Galaxy Hand of Destruction. Hall Mistress Ziwei grabbed out fiercely, and starlight condensed into a huge palm. It pushed out horizontally with terrifying power. Seal of Proof. 2 rays of light shot out from Chu Kuangren's body. 2 mystical talismans immediately floated above his head. Then, the Descendant Self-Sword appeared in his hand and he slashed out with it. The fluctuations of the Reverent Emperor Sword Art erupted. Under the enhancement of the Seal of Proof, the power of the Golden Sword shadows multiplied. Boom! The sword shadow and the giant palm collided with each other, and then both exploded. Chu Kuangren and Hall Master Ziwei were both pushed back a few meters. Purple Star Divine Eyes. Hall Master Ziwei snorted coldly, and a brilliant purple light bloomed in her eyes. This was Purple Star's most powerful immortal art. A beam of purple light shot out from Hall Master Ziwei's eyes. The beam of light pierced through the void. Chu Kuangren snorted coldly as he pushed his physical strength to its limit. With his Emperor's Qi and mind power circulating, he activated the Honorable Emperor's Sword Art once again. This time, the power was even more tyrannical. The purple light beam was forcibly shattered by this sword. Hall Master Ziwei's pupils shrank as she was sent flying by this sword. His battle prowess is actually above mine. How is this possible? Hall Master Ziwei was extremely shocked. The Purple Star cultivators were shocked as well. The invincible palace master in their hearts was no match for Chu Kuangren. How could they accept this? Too weak. Hall Master Ziwei, you really disappoint me. Chu Kuangren said indifferently. He took a step forward while two Dharma verification seals appeared above his head, and the might of his Tao art was peerlessly vast as it charged madly at everything in the surroundings. He raised his hand and slashed out again. The golden sword light tore through the void, and the domineering sword pressure completely locked onto Hall Master Ziwei. Starlight Shield. Hall Master Ziwei activated a defensive technique. The surrounding starlight formed a total of 7 starlight shields in front of him. Bang, bang, bang. 7 consecutive explosions rang out. The 7 shields shattered one by one. Hall Master Ziwei was struck by the sword chi and was sent flying. If we continue to fight, will I die? Hall Master Ziwei said in disbelief. In the purple gold galaxy, other than hollow immortals, there had never been anyone who could force him to this state, let alone a celestial seed. Stop! At this moment, a furious roar came from within the purple star. Following that, a purple golden coffin flew out and charged towards Chu Kuangren with a violent force. This aura is, Chu Kuangren narrowed his eyes and struck out with his sword. The sword's shadow collided with the coffin, and the surrounding void suddenly collapsed. Chu Kuangren retreated a few dozen feet and looked at the purple golden coffin with narrowed eyes. This aura, it's a hollow immortal. A hollow immortal's strength surpassed the Sky Dao Masters, but due to various limitations, they were destined to not become immortals. The hollow immortal has made his move. What a powerful aura. Is this the power of a hollow immortal? Everyone looked at the coffin with a solemn gaze. A hollow immortal was hiding within the purple star. Everyone was already mentally prepared for this. However, they were not completely unprepared. Old Curmudgeon Ku, our last battle ended in a draw. Why don't we continue today? A cold voice came from outside the purple star. A white ray of light flew towards them. As if it sensed something, the purple golden coffin suddenly exploded. Then, a gray-robed elder walked out from it. That white ray of light arrived in front of everyone and turned into a white-haired elder in a white robe. This person was the hollow immortal of mortal heaven. The hollow immortal of mortal heaven appeared, and his terrifying aura swept out and locked onto the hollow immortal that came out from the coffin, which was Old Curmudgeon Ku. When the two hollow immortals met again, a battle was about to break out. Hollow immortal of mortal heaven, Old Curmudgeon Ku's expression was solemn. Previously, when the purple star sent people to surround Chu Kuangren, he was responsible for holding the hollow immortal of mortal heaven back. But now, the situation was reversed. Chu Kuangren led his people to attack the purple star, and the hollow immortal of mortal heaven was holding him back. What a reversal of fortune. Let's fight. Old Curmudgeon Ku shouted and then charged towards the hollow immortal of mortal heaven. Once again, the two hollow immortals clashed, and their auras shook the heavens and earth. Meanwhile, Chu Kuangren looked at Palace Lord Ziwei coldly. He closed in step by step. Wherever he went, sword chi and Taoist patterns intertwined and collided. All the purple star cultivators who wanted to stop him were easily killed. The disordered star ocean, the black blood gang, the mystic moon ancient city, and the hollow immortal of mortal heaven. Chu Kuangren, I really didn't expect you to gather so many forces. You've truly shocked me. If I could do it all over again, even if the purple star immortal seed dies, I wouldn't go looking for trouble with you. Instead, I would recruit you. Palace Lord Ziwei sighed. However, Chu Kuangren ignored him. Unfortunately, it's all too late. It's useless to say anything. He gathered his spiritual power weapons and aimed them at Palace Lord Ziwei. Is that so? A cold voice was heard. Immediately after, a dazzling star shield appeared in front of Hall Master Ziwei, blocking the thousands of spirit chi weapons. Oh, this aura is also the power of a hollow immortal. Chu Kuangren was a little surprised. A black figure dashed out from the purple star. It was a man in black armor, and his aura was extremely powerful, far beyond the realm of a normal heavenly lord. He was also a hollow immortal. What? There's a second hollow immortal hiding in the purple star. How's that possible? The mystic moon Taoist master and the others were shocked. Hollow immortals were very rare. Although they could not become immortals, most of them could understand the origin energy and combine it with the Emperor's essence. That was why they could unleash combat strength that far exceeded that of a normal heavenly lord. There were not many hollow immortals in the entire purple gold galaxy. All along, there had only been one hollow immortal in the purple star galaxy. Now, there was another one. Do you think that's all? Palace Lord Ziwei sneered. The purple star galaxy shook violently. A furious roar came from the purple star galaxy and echoed throughout the universe. A majestic lion with golden fur leaped into the sky, and its golden eyes swept across the crowd. The hollow immortal's power that was completely different from the hollow immortal Chen Tian and the others shocked everyone. That was also a hollow immortal. A hollow immortal beast cultivator. How dare you offend the purple star galaxy? Your sins are unforgivable. The golden lion said coldly. The mystic moon Taoist master, Yang Xiao, and the others gulped in shock. There were 3 hollow immortals in the purple star galaxy. D*MN, we've underestimated the purple star galaxy. To be able to stand at the top of the galaxy for so long, their hidden strength is too terrifying. They have 3 hollow immortals. I'm afraid we're in trouble now. Chapter 9:12. Ha, Chu Kuangren, I've said it before. It doesn't matter if it's you or the Chaos Star Ocean or the Mystic Moon Taoist Master, none of you will escape death today. Hall Master Ziwei guffawed. Following that, an extremely tyrannical aura suddenly erupted from his body. When everyone sensed this aura, their expressions changed slightly. This aura was like heavenly might. That's Violet Star Heavenly Tao. Hall Master Ziwei is the Lord of Purple Star. He is now using the power of the Heavenly Tao. His combat prowess is probably no weaker than a hollow immortal. 2 void immortals and Hall Master Ziwei in her Tao integration state. This was the true heritage of Purple Star. In the face of this power, even void immortal Chen Tian, who was fighting against old monster Ku in the distance, could not help but feel serious. Far away. A man in a golden robe looked at the purple star battlefield in the distance and shook his head slightly. The purple star and my Venus are the 2 rulers of the purple gold galaxy. Their heritage is beyond your imagination. There was also more than one void immortal on Venus. As the master of Venus, the man had some understanding of the purple star, one of the 2 great immortal law civilizations in the purple gold galaxy. Hence, from the very beginning, he did not think highly of Chu Kuangren and the others. He thought that they were just digging their own graves. Palace Master, why don't we help? A young man next to the man said. Help? Why are you helping him? The golden-robed man smirked. Let them fight. Although it'll be extremely difficult for Chu Kuangren and the others to destroy the Purple Star sect, it'll still be enough to make the Purple Star sect suffer. Isn't it better for us to sit back and reap the benefits? The young man nodded slightly. Besides, if Chu Kuangren dies in this battle, then you'll be the Purple Gold Galaxy's #1 immortal seed, the golden-robed man added. Upon hearing that, the young man was a little surprised. He then looked at Chu Kuangren from afar with an inexplicable glint in his eyes. His eyes were filled with jealousy, shock, and admiration. It's fine if I don't get the title of #1 immortal seed just like that. Purple Star Battlefield. The 2 void immortals and Hall Master Ziwei in her Tao unification state brought great encouragement to the Purple Star cultivators, greatly boosting their morale. Kill. Kill all these bandits. Trivial bandits dare come to my Purple Star and court death. Instead of staying in the chaotic star sea, you actually dare to covet my Purple Star. You really don't know the difference between life and death. Die for me. The Purple Star cultivators fought back. The bandits of the chaotic astral sea were immediately suppressed. Ha, Chu Kuangren, your people won't last much longer. Hall Master Ziwei sneered. Oh. My men. Chu Kuangren chuckled. It's just a bunch of bandits. No matter how many you kill, it doesn't matter to me. As long as I want to, I can find a second or even a third disordered astral ocean. But you guys are different. Those who died were all Purple Star cultivators, and it was Purple Star's warship that was destroyed. Do you feel any heartache? His words were like a sharp blade that stabbed into the hearts of Hall Master Ziwei and the others, causing their faces to turn ashen. Chu Kuangren was right. No matter how many bandits he killed, it didn't matter to him. It was originally a tool for him to use for revenge. However, it was different for the Purple Star cultivators. Those who died were all Purple Star cultivators, and the loss of Purple Star's warship was real. Chu Kuangren, you're playing with so many lives just to take revenge on my Purple Star. You're too shameless. Hall Master Ziwei said in a low voice. You should have known this day would come when you sent people to attack my firmament star. Chu Kuangren yelled. Once I kill you, I'll send more people to destroy Firmament Star. Hall Master Ziwei said coldly. What's the point of saying so much? Die. The black-armored Purple Star Virtual Immortal said coldly. He raised the spear in his hand and stabbed it towards Chu Kuangren. Boundless spear force erupted in an instant. It was vast and mighty like a flood, its might shattering the entire void. The Virtual Immortal's strength was unparalleled. Chu Kuangren dared not let his guard down. He channeled his Emperor's Qi and mind power at the same time, activating his invincible technique, and the Cosmos Reversal technique erupted. Boom! Along with the violent collision, Chu Kuangren was pushed back a few dozen feet. However, with his strong physical body, that attack did not cause any damage to him. Seeing that, the spear-wielding Virtual Immortal was a little shocked. A great Taoist master can withstand an attack from a Virtual Immortal? Where did this monster come from? We can't let this kid live. Beside him, the Golden Lion Virtual Immortal could not help but be shocked as well. With a murderous intent in his eyes, he let out a roar, and the sound waves that seemed to materialize spread out. The sound waves shattered the void and surged towards Chu Kuangren. Some cultivators along the way were blasted into a mist of blood by the sound waves. Humph, Chu Kuangren snorted and stood proudly. The sound waves did not affect his physical body at all. Good one, kid. The Golden Lion Virtual Immortal transformed into a muscular man. He looked at Chu Kuangren with a glint in his eyes, and his demonic qi and origin energy circulated around his body, combining to form a powerful Virtual Immortal's strength. Try taking another attack from me. Golden Lion's Raging Flame Fist. He unleashed a punch, and the golden flames turned into the shadow of a lion that charged out. Chu Kuangren did not retreat, and instead, he unleashed a punch of his own. With a loud explosion, the surrounding area exploded. Just when Chu Kuangren was sent flying again, Palace Lord Ziwei seized the opportunity to activate her immortal technique and unleashed a powerful attack. A dazzling galaxy swept across the void and landed on Chu Kuangren. Amidst the explosion, Chu Kuangren was sent flying and crashed into a battleship. That battleship suddenly exploded, and sparks flew everywhere. This is bad. Brother Chu is no match for the three of them. One Virtual Immortal is already difficult enough to deal with, let alone three Virtual Immortals. No matter how strong Brother Chu is, he won't be able to withstand it. If this goes on, he'll definitely die. The Sacred Moon Taoist Master and the others were anxious. However, they were occupied by their respective opponents and could not provide support. No. Even if they could, how could they fight against the Virtual Immortals? We've underestimated the combat strength of the Purple Star Civilization. It's not that easy to destroy the Purple Star Civilization. Let's retreat. That's what I was thinking. Some of them were already thinking of retreating. However, the Purple Star cultivators would not let them leave so easily. Beams of light erupted around the battlefield, forming a giant light barrier that covered a radius of 10 million kilometers, enveloping everyone within it. What's this? Oh no, it's the Purple Star trapping formation. They've set up a trapping formation. Now it's going to be a problem for us to escape. What should we do now? The Sacred Moon Taoist Master and the others looked extremely solemn. Boom! At that moment, a powerful burst of energy erupted from afar. Chu Kuangren slowly walked out from the destroyed battleship. His snow-white robe was unscathed. Upon seeing that, Palace Master Ziwei, the spear-wielding virtual immortal, and the Golden Lion illusionary immortal narrowed their eyes in disbelief. What's this person's physical body made of? His strength is no match for ours. So what if his physical body is strong? Dripping water can wear through a rock. I don't believe we can't destroy him. Palace Master Ziwei said viciously. Oh, his strength is no match for yours. Where did you get the confidence to say that? Chu Kuangren said indifferently. Then, an origin energy gushed out from his body. Lunar Radiance Origin. Origin energy. He's gained enlightenment on the origin. The spear-wielding virtual immortal was shocked. One origin energy won't change anything. One origin energy. Chu Kuangren chuckled. Then, the flame origin energy, the devour origin energy, the immortal origin energy, the frost origin energy, the physical origin energy, 6 origin energy surged out and circled around Chu Kuangren's body. Its power shook the heavens, and the heavenly radiance of the origin energy shone on him, making him look like a supreme immortal king. Chapter 9:13. Silence. The entire Purple Star battlefield was dead silent. Everyone was dumbfounded as they looked at Chu Kuangren, who was surrounded by 6 origin energies and was glowing like a supreme immortal king. Origin energies? 6 different elemental origin energies at that. What was going on with this person? How did he come to understand such power? Everyone was baffled. This was especially true for the Hollow Immortals. When they looked at Chu Kuangren, their hearts were no longer filled with shock. They were completely dumbfounded. They knew how difficult it was to understand the origin energies. Even a Hollow Immortal had to put in a lot of effort just to understand one of them. How old was Chu Kuangren? He had 6 different elemental origin energies. What kind of Tao did he walk? Did you guys just say that my power is weaker than yours? What about now? Chu Kuangren had 2 Dharma testimony seals above his head and 6 origin energies surrounding him. His power was so strong that it shook the entire starry sky. He raised the Descendant Self sword in his hand and slashed. Amidst the explosion, a terrifying purple sword ray exploded. It shattered the starry sky and slashed towards the spear-wielding Hollow Immortal. Block it! The spear-wielding Hollow Immortal roared and waved his spear. His spear chi swirled like a tornado, condensing the surrounding starlight before it exploded. When the 2 energies collided, the spear-wielding Hollow Immortal's expression changed drastically. He spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. How powerful! The spear-wielding Hollow Immortal's expression was extremely solemn. Purple Star Divine Gaze. Starflame Lion. The Golden Lion Hollow Immortal and Palace Lord Ziwei activated their Taoist patterns at the same time. One of them had purple light circulating in his eyes before a beam of light shot out. The other let out a long roar, and golden flames shot into the sky. Combined with the starlight, it turned into the silhouette of a mighty and domineering giant lion. The 2 energies collided towards Chu Kuangren from both sides. Chu Kuangren's eyes turned cold when he saw that. With a lift of his arm, a majestic emperor's chi merged with the 6 origin energies. Invincible technique, universal domination. With a punch, the invincible technique shattered the purple beam of light and the starflame lion. Palace Lord Ziwei and the Golden Lion Hollow Immortal were forced back. Again. The 3 of them wanted to fight again. However, Chu Kuangren's aura was still growing stronger. Vaguely, there was a wave of heavenly might. That was the power of the heavenly Tao. Do you think this is my limit? Chu Kuangren said indifferently. Tao integration stage, activate. Chu Kuangren's combat strength had increased tremendously in his Taoist unification state. His mighty aura swept across the entire Purple Star battlefield. Everyone was so shocked that they were speechless. That power was too terrifying. How can his heavenly energy be so powerful? Hall Master Ziwei swallowed her saliva and said in disbelief. He was also a starry lord who possessed the Purple Star heavenly Tao. However, why did he feel that his heavenly Tao energy was not as good as Chu Kuangren's? Was the firmament star's heavenly axiom this powerful? After Master devoured the Sirius star's heavenly Tao, his heavenly Tao power became even more terrifying, the Black Blood Hall Master said in shock. He knew of the art of seizing the heavens. However, most of the art of seizing the heavens required a long period of preparation, and sometimes even required the power of civilization to carry it out. It was his first time encountering someone like Chu Kuangren, who used a starry lord as a medium to devour the heavenly Tao. Is this the true power of the poetic sword sage? His aura is too terrifying. From afar, the golden-robed man who was secretly watching the battle could not help but be shocked. The poetic sword sage is truly a monster. Beside him, the young man could not help but be horrified. He looked at Chu Kuangren and could not help but feel a huge, unprecedented sense of defeat. Was this guy an immortal seed like him? What a joke! How could there be such a terrifying immortal seed? With the 6 Daos of origin energy and heavenly energy, Chu Kuangren was unbelievably powerful. His every move could shake the entire universe. He looked calmly at the 3 starry lords. The Purple Star Galaxy has stood tall in the Purple Gold Galaxy for many years. Do you think I don't know that? Do you think I would come here without any support? Do you think that the disordered galaxy is my only support? You're wrong. I've already said that the disordered galaxy is just my tool. My only support has always been myself. He took a step forward and appeared in front of the 3 starry lords in the blink of an eye. With a lift of his arm, an infinite amount of power instantly erupted. He threw out a punch. The spear-wielding illusory immortal roared and blocked the attack with his spear. The punch landed on the spear and forcefully bent the spear. Boom! The spear-wielding illusory immortal was sent flying by the punch. His arms trembled violently, and the web between his thumb and forefinger was torn, causing blood to spurt out. Roar! Not far away, the golden lion illusory immortal reverted to his true form. He opened his arms and bit at Chu Kuangren. Little kitty, don't yell like a ghost here. Scram! Chu Kuangren raised his arm and activated his invincible technique. The terrifying energy blasted onto the golden lion illusory immortal and sent him flying. Then, his gaze landed on Palace Lord Ziwei. Under his gaze, Palace Lord Ziwei could not help but tremble as an uncontrollable fear rose within her. How could there be such a terrifying person in this world? Chu Kuangren activated his immortal technique. Frosty Qi, flames, and Emperor's Qi turned into a purplish-red light wave that struck Palace Lord Ziwei, severely injuring her in the blink of an eye. Heaven-devouring divine Taoist art. In the next instant, Chu Kuangren appeared in front of Palace Lord Ziwei and reached out to grab her. With a single thought, he activated the heaven-devouring technique. In an instant, the heavenly Tao energy within her body gushed out like a torrent towards Chu Kuangren. At that moment, the entire Purple Star realm trembled. All the Purple Star cultivators who were fighting also seemed to feel something, and an inexplicable sense of panic welled up in their hearts. He's devouring the heavenly Tao. He's devouring the heavenly Tao. The spear-wielding illusory immortal was terrified. Not far away, Old Man Ku wanted to go back and stop Chu Kuangren, but he was held back by the Dust Sky illusionary immortal. Chu Kuangren, stop! The spear-wielding illusory immortal roared and hurled his spear at Chu Kuangren. It turned into a stream of light and shot towards Chu Kuangren. Humph, Chu Kuangren snorted. He channeled his thoughts and Emperor's chi to form an invisible whirlpool around him, blocking the attack. How can this be? How can he devour the heavenly Tao? What kind of technique is this? All the Purple Star Realm cultivators shuddered. At that moment, amidst the turbulent winds and clouds, a gigantic blood-colored eye suddenly appeared in the sky. It was the Eye of Heavenly Punishment. The Purple Star Heavenly Tao had retaliated. When the Eye of Heavenly Punishment appeared, bolts of thick blood-colored lightning struck towards Chu Kuangren. It was even stronger than the serious Heavenly Tao. Each bolt of lightning contained enough power to kill a Heavenly Tao master. However, Chu Kuangren was no longer the same Chu Kuangren who was on the Sirius star. With a single thought, a purplish-red light wave spread out with him as the center, blocking off the bolts of blood-colored lightning. Be obedient and let yourself be devoured. Chu Kuangren raised his descendant's self-sword, and the Emperor Avatar appeared behind him. A golden sword shadow that was infused with the 6 origin energies slashed out with the help of the technique attestation seal and the Heavenly Tao energy. Accompanied by a loud bang, the blood-colored Eye of Heavenly Punishment was shattered by that sword attack. In a trance, everyone seemed to hear a heart-wrenching, soul-piercing scream. That was the Heavenly Tao's scream. Chapter 9:14. On the Purple Star Battlefield. Chu Kuangren single-handedly defeated 3 false immortals in a short period of time. At the same time, he began to devour the Purple Star Heavenly Tao. The Eye of Heavenly Punishment appeared, but it was destroyed by his sword. His actions made one's scalp go numb. The strength of the opponent's battle prowess had completely exceeded their imagination. "It's over," a Purple Star cultivator couldn't help whispering. "Fight it out with them," a Purple Star cultivator said angrily. They could not retreat. Behind them was the entire Purple Star, just like how the Firmament Star had stopped the Blood Origin Star from invading in the past. Now, Purple Star had to stop the bandits of the chaotic astral ocean. The battle continued. But the result was more or less decided. As the Purple Star Heavenly Tao continued to be devoured, the Firmament Star Heavenly Tao continued to grow stronger. The Heavenly Tao within Chu Kuangren's body was also getting stronger. "Bastard, bastard! Our Purple Star civilization has dominated the Purple Gold Galaxy for 71 eras, but we have never encountered such a calamity. Chu Kuangren, even if I die, I'll drag you down with me." The spear-wielding Void Immortal's expression was filled with grief and indignation. Purple flames ignited on his body. He was actually burning his life force to forcibly increase his strength. "Die!" The spear-wielding illusory immortal let out a loud roar. Then, his figure turned into a stream of light, and it was as if he and his spear had become one as he shot towards Chu Kuangren. This strike was a strike that a false immortal could use with his life on the line. In this Purple Gold Galaxy, no one would be able to stop him. Burning his life force? Very good. Chu Kuangren took out the purple fairy bow and pulled the bowstring. At the same time, the energy on his body began to rise rapidly. A blood-red arrow condensed on the bowstring. Li family's forbidden technique, Blood Essence Condensing Arrow. Chu Kuangren had seen Li Xueyin use this technique before, and she was able to kill a great Taoist master by leaps and bounds despite being an entire realm higher than her. Therefore, other than the 4 symbols shooting sun arrow, he also wanted to learn the Li clan's forbidden technique. I can't believe Chu Kuangren is also depleting his life energy. This guy, does he want to die? Lunatics, 2 lunatics. Everyone was shocked as they stared at Chu Kuangren. A powerful wave of immortal technique erupted from Chu Kuangren's body as he swiftly drew his bow and shot out 4 arrows. Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, Black Tortoise. The 4 divine beasts' arrows pierced through the air and landed on the spear-wielding illusory immortal's body. Each arrow was condensed from Chu Kuangren's life energy, and its power was so powerful that even an illusory immortal would find it hard to defend against it. Boom! Accompanied by a burst of blood mist. The void immortal wielding the spear had fallen. The spear was also swept away and stabbed into an uninhabited star. It was covered with cracks and looked like it would shatter at any moment. Chu Kuangren put away the purple fairy bow. After using his life force to shoot the 4 symbols sun shooting arrow, his life force was almost exhausted. His black hair had turned white. Seeing this, everyone could not help but feel pity. Too stupid, too stupid. He actually used this kind of method that consumes his life force and destroys his own future just for a moment of impulse. Sigh, he should have a bright future ahead of him. But now, forget about becoming an immortal, he probably won't be able to live for more than a few years. What a pity. Fellow Taoist Chu, some felt that it was a pity, while others scoffed. There were also people who were heartbroken. But in the next instant, something that astonished everyone happened. In the blink of an eye, Chu Kuangren's white hair had returned to its original black color, and his originally dispirited life force had once again become vigorous. The condensed blood arrow might be a self-destructive move to others, but unfortunately, it's no different from an ordinary move to me. Chu Kuangren chuckled. Self-destructing his own life force? Impossible. He had the immortal body. As long as his life force was not completely depleted in an instant, he would automatically recover in the next instant. Everyone looked at Chu Kuangren with their mouths agape. He can recover so quickly even after destroying his own life force. What the hell? What kind of technique is this? How many more techniques does this guy have? That was the question that popped up in everyone's mind. Chu Kuangren's successive trump cards had already confused them. Chu Kuangren's abilities were like a bottomless pit with no end in sight. Alright, you're useless now anyway. Chu Kuangren looked at Hall Master Ziwei, whose heavenly energy had been sucked dry, and sneered. He then raised his sword and ended her life. In a flash, he appeared in front of the illusory golden lion. Spare! Before the illusory golden lion could finish his sentence, Chu Kuangren's sword had already landed on him, and the sword she had already torn him apart. Illusory golden lion, there's only one left. Chu Kuangren looked at Curmudgeon Ku, who was fighting against the illusory golden lion. The latter trembled in fear when Chu Kuangren looked at him. He had already lost his will to fight, and all he wanted to do was to escape. However, how could the illusory golden lion let him do as he pleased? Trying to escape. How naive. The illusory golden lion laughed. Golden chains then emerged from his body and intertwined with each other, forming a huge enchanted boundary. Curmudgeon Ku was sealed in the enchanted boundary and could not escape. After a fierce battle, the illusory golden lion finally gained the upper hand and killed Curmudgeon Ku within the enchanted boundary. Ha! The illusory golden lion is dead. The Purple Star civilization is finished. Attack! Rob the Purple Star civilization clean. Master Chu, well done. Countless bandits laughed and charged towards the Purple Star cultivators. After the deaths of Hall Master Ziwei and the others, not only did the Purple Star cultivators not retreat, but they also had a strong will to live. They even risked their lives to protect the Purple Star civilization. Chu Kuangren was not surprised to see that. He was even more unfazed by the deaths of countless bandits. After all, they were just tools for him to take revenge. No matter how the Purple Star civilization fought back, the outcome was already determined. The battle lasted for almost 10 days. The sounds of battle never stopped for a moment in the outer domain. With the fall of the last Tao Lord of the Purple Star civilization, the Purple Star civilization was at its end. The remaining bandits rushed into the Purple Star civilization to plunder it. It was a disaster for a civilization. And the number of casualties in this disaster was uncountable. 100 million. A billion. 10 billion. Maybe more than that. Even the mystic Moon Tao Lord and Yang Shao could not help but be moved when they saw the disaster that befell the Purple Star civilization. However, Chu Kuangren remained calm, as if he did not care at all. That made everyone speechless. How indestructible must this person's Taoist core be to be able to remain unmoved after witnessing such a disaster? That made them even more fearful of Chu Kuangren. Talent, strength, Taoist core, all of them were impeccable. If such a person did not stand at the peak, it would be unconscionable. What a disaster for a civilization. At that moment, an emotional voice was heard. Not far away, a golden-robed man and a young man were walking in the air. They looked at the Purple Star civilization with an emotional gaze. Chu Kuangren glanced at them and recognized who they were. He said indifferently, "Golden Star King, what are you doing here?" His gaze swept behind the Golden Star King. From afar, he saw hundreds of thousands of battleships and could not help but chuckle. "So you're here to reap the benefits." The Golden Star King laughed awkwardly when he heard that. Initially, he did have that idea, but after witnessing Chu Kuangren's strength, he no longer dared to think that way. Chapter 9:15. I see, so you're here to reap the benefits. Chu Kuangren chuckled. The Golden Star Lord laughed awkwardly and said, "Brother Chu, you've misunderstood. I'm just here to see if there's anything I can help with." Everyone rolled their eyes. What a shameless thing to say. Just to see if there's anything I can help with. I didn't see you guys when the battle was in full swing. Now that it's over, you guys only come out now. Isn't that just trying to reap the benefits from the battle? If not for Chu Kuangren's strength, the Golden Star Lord's warships would have already locked onto them. Golden Star Lord, you sure are shameless. Chu Kuangren said calmly. The Golden Star Lord did not say anything as he looked at the Purple Star Lord. Billions of living beings have perished because of a single thought from you. From now on, the Purple Star civilization will become history. Brother Chu, your methods are truly extraordinary. What, are you going to criticize me? In this universe, there are civilizations dying at every moment. It's just that most of them are nameless. However, the Purple Star civilization is no different from them, so why would I criticize you? Cut the crap and get straight to the point. Chu Kuangren said. I'm here to make a deal with you, Brother Chu. I want all the immortal techniques of the Purple Star civilization. The Golden Star Lord said. That was the purpose of his trip. What do you have in exchange? The equivalent of the immortal techniques is the immortal techniques. How about I trade the Golden Star immortal techniques for the Purple Star immortal techniques? Sure. Chu Kuangren nodded and did not refuse. Soon after, Chu Kuangren and the others landed in a palace in the Purple Star civilization. This was the Temple of Crepe Myrtle, the center of power in the Purple Star civilization. Chu Kuangren had found the Purple Star immortal techniques and completed the deal with the Golden Star Lord here. Other than that, he also found a treasure vault. The treasury contained the Purple Star civilization's accumulated spirit essence, precious medicines, and purple gold source treasures. It could be said that there were countless of them. The moment the treasure vault was opened, a large amount of treasure light filled the air, stunning the Divine Moon Taoist Master, Yang Xiao, and the others. Holy F***CK. As expected of the immortal art civilization. Their resources are truly extraordinary. Look, all of those top-notch Dao tier treasured medicines. One after another. They're more than I've ever seen in my entire life. There is also the spiritual marrow. TSK, it fills a whole box of universe rings. How much is that? 100 billion? 1 trillion? I'm rich. Looking at the treasure vault before them, everyone couldn't help but gasp in astonishment. Upon seeing that, Chu Kuangren said calmly, Everyone, you may all take as many treasures as you like from the treasury. Everyone's eyes lit up when they heard that. Then we won't stand on ceremony. Brother Chu is really generous. The Divine Moon Dao Lord and the others had taken some things from the treasury, but they were extremely careful and did not take too much. After all, they knew that it was all thanks to Chu Kuangren that they were able to defeat Purple Star this time. Without him, they would have been defeated a long time ago. Chu Kuangren suddenly looked at a jade bottle in the treasury. Inside the bottle was a golden elixir. The surface of the bottle was intertwined with Dao patterns, as if sealing the elixir's medicinal properties. Shao, AI, analyze it. Analyzing, under the omniscient spirit's analysis, Chu Kuangren quickly figured out the function of the elixir in his hand. It was actually an immortal elixir. To be precise, it was an incomplete immortal elixir. However, too much of the elixir's medicinal properties had been lost, and the elixir's effects were less than 1/10 of the original immortal elixir. Even so, this incomplete immortal elixir was still the biggest treasure in this treasury, and it was very useful to Chu Kuangren. With this elixir, my cultivation base can break through to the heavenly Tao Lord realm. Chu Kuangren held the jade bottle and smiled. Then, he put the items in the treasury one by one into his yin and yang ring. After that, he went to the Purple Star Library. The library was a place where the Purple Star civilization's knowledge was stored. This place was more attractive to him than the treasury. In the following period of time, he listed the Temple of Crepe Myrtle as a forbidden area, and no bandits were allowed to come close to disturb him. He stayed in the library for more than 10 days. The Divine Moon Tao Lord and the others had already left the Purple Star Library. After more than 10 days, Chu Kuangren put down the last book in the library with a hint of satisfaction in his eyes. The Purple Star civilization's knowledge is very helpful to me. Whether it's runic alchemy, equipment refinement, formation, or so on, they are all very inspiring. Not only for me, but also for the Firmament Star civilization. I have to pack these books up and send them back to Firmament Star for them to study. Chu Kuangren murmured. Then, he took out several jade scrolls, which recorded the immortal techniques of Purple Star and Venus. To be honest, with his current attack methods, unless it was some immortal techniques with special effects, ordinary immortal techniques would not be of much use to him. However, he was still keen to find immortal techniques. Immortal techniques were created by immortals. Immortal techniques often condensed the immortal's cultivation experience and understanding of the Tao, which were useful for him to comprehend by analogy. Not to mention, he also wanted to use immortal techniques to combine the various Taoist physiques he had to comprehend the origin energy. Soon, he began to comprehend immortal techniques. First was the Purple Star immortal technique, Galaxy Apocalypse. Among the 3,000 Taoist physiques in Firmament Star, there was a top-notch Taoist physique called the Star Taoist Physique, which was very compatible with the Galaxy Apocalypse. When Chu Kuangren was in Firmament Star, he had searched for Taoist physiques all over the world to expand the physique book, and this Star Taoist Physique was naturally included. Through the immortal technique, Galaxy Apocalypse, and the Star Taoist Physique, Chu Kuangren's consciousness came to the origin world and once again comprehended an origin. The Star Origin Energy. Next was the Golden Star Immortal Technique. The Golden Star Immortal Technique tended to be fierce and domineering, and Chu Kuangren's purple-blooded overlord physique was somewhat compatible with it. After half a month of research, Chu Kuangren was unable to comprehend a new origin energy. It seems that it's still a little lacking. The Golden Star Immortal Technique and the purple-blooded Overlord Physique are not compatible enough, Chu Kuangren murmured. Of course, he could not rely on the Taoist Physique and just rely on the Immortal Technique to comprehend the origin energy, but that would take a lot more time. Let's put it aside for now. Chu Kuangren no longer cared about it. This time, it was already a good harvest for him to comprehend the star origin energy. Now, he had 7 origin energies in his hands. After comprehending so many origins, I still can't create an origin that belongs to me. I wonder when I'll be able to do so. Chu Kuangren murmured. Creating an origin of Taoism that belonged to him was his ultimate goal in comprehending various origins, and it was also the key to becoming an immortal. Chu Kuangren shook his head, knowing that this matter could not be rushed. He had already crossed the demon barrier, and this matter could no longer affect his Taoist core. Next, it's time to break through to the heavenly Tao Master. After he had more or less comprehended the immortal techniques, Chu Kuangren took out the remnant immortal pill and crushed the jade bottle. Suddenly, a majestic medicinal effect swept out like a tsunami. Chu Kuangren could not help but be amazed, and then he swallowed it in one gulp. The majestic medicinal effect crazily attacked him. Even a heavenly Tao master would explode and die on the spot if they consumed it. However, Chu Kuangren's physical body was strong enough to withstand it. Then, he activated the universal cauldron physique and began to refine the immortal pill's medicinal effect. Chapter 9:16. 3 months later. Inside the Ziwei Temple. An extremely powerful aura suddenly erupted and swept across the entire purple star. Every living being on the purple star planet could feel this aura. What a terrifying aura! Is this the heavenly Tao master? This is too terrifying. I've never felt such a terrifying aura from a heavenly Tao master. Even a false immortal would not be this terrifying. Countless cultivators were shocked. They looked towards the direction of the Ziwei Temple. There was no longer anyone from the Ziwei Temple there. There was only one person there. A terrifying existence that destroyed the entire Purple Star civilization. Purple Star Temple. Chu Kuangren suddenly opened his eyes. There was a glimmer in his eyes as he sensed the majestic emperor's qi in his body. A satisfied smile appeared on his face. An immortal pill is indeed an immortal pill. Even an incomplete immortal pill is extraordinary. It allowed me to skip the peak of the great Taoist master level and enter the heavenly Tao master level. Very powerful. Chu Kuangren smiled. After all, he had a strong foundation. Breaking through a small realm required a huge amount of resources, which far exceeded the resources needed by others in the same realm. If it were not for his opportunities of fortune, treasures, and the treasures he obtained from the fantasy roulette, it would have been difficult for him to break through to the Taoist master level in less than 60 years no matter how talented he was. Not to mention the heavenly Tao master level. Next, it's time to send the books in the library to Firmament Star, Chu Kuangren said. With his current cultivation level and the puppet clone on Firmament Star as a medium, it was enough for him to use the spatial conveyor technique to transfer all the books to Firmament Star. He would do it if he wanted to. With a thought, the spatial conveyor technique's fluctuations completely enveloped the entire huge library in front of him. Far away on Firmament Star. The puppet clone suddenly opened its eyes. Taoist patterns flowed on its body and transformed into Chu Kuangren's appearance. Many people sensed the puppet's movements. The Chaos Taoist master and the others rushed over and looked at the puppet with a solemn expression. Could it be that another enemy had come to attack? Don't worry, everyone. I'm just here to give you something, Chu Kuangren said. Then, he came to an empty space. With a thought, a huge library appeared out of thin air and landed on the ground, causing the entire imperial palace to tremble. What is this? The Chaos Tao Master and the others were surprised. The intellectual wealth of the Purple Star civilization. Chu Kuangren chuckled. Hearing this, the sect master of 10,000 laws drew a sharp intake of breath and exclaimed in shock, the wealth of wisdom of the Purple Star civilization? How is that possible? The Purple Star was one of the 2 immortal technique civilizations in the Purple Gold Galaxy. How did their wealth and wisdom appear on the Firmament Star? What had the king done in the Purple Gold Galaxy? The knowledge contained within this will be of great help to the development of our empire. You guys should get someone to study it properly. Chu Kuangren chuckled. Then, he retracted his thoughts and reverted back to his battle puppet form. The power of his will was limited. In order to preserve its power, it would not appear unless it was needed. Hundreds of light years away from Firmament Star. Purple Star. Heavenly Wind Bandit King and the others arrived at Ziwei Divine Palace. In the main hall. Chu Kuangren sat on the main seat with wisps of Emperor's qi circulating around his body. His domineering aura was so terrifying that even the heavens and earth trembled. Now, he'd successfully broken through into the heavenly Tao Lord realm. His combat strength had become even more unfathomable. Greetings, young master. Tianfeng Bandit King and the others bowed respectfully. How's your harvest? Chu Kuangren nodded slightly and asked casually. Not bad. Their eyes flashed with a complicated look. Did they gain a lot? Very much. However, the biggest gain was the many treasures, books, and techniques that were hidden in the palace of Crepe Myrtle. All of them had been taken by Chu Kuangren. As for the others, they were not bad either. However, the battle with the Purple Star had also cost them a lot. Although overall, the gains outweighed the losses, it still felt unsatisfactory. However, they could not tell Chu Kuangren about that. What could they do even if they did? Would Chu Kuangren show them any mercy? They were just tools to Chu Kuangren, and they had long accepted that fact. If that's the case, I'll give you guys 3 days to evacuate the Purple Star as soon as possible, Chu Kuangren said. What? So soon? Master, we still have a lot of resources to mine on the Purple Star. Wouldn't it be too hasty to leave now? Tianfeng Bandit King and the others said. Chu Kuangren said, I'm going to devour the Purple Star. If you guys want to become nutrients for my indestructible physique, then stay. Tianfeng Bandit King and the others shuddered. They remembered the scene of Chu Kuangren devouring a planet. If they stayed, they would not be able to escape death. We understand. Tianfeng Bandit King nodded. 3 days later, the Bandit Kings and their forces left one after another. Chu Kuangren also began to devour the Purple Star. On that day, the entire Purple Star was shaken. Countless Purple Star living beings trembled in fear and fled to the outer domain. Chu Kuangren's devouring of the Purple Star was sensed by the Purple Gold Galaxy's forces, and they were all shocked. That's too cruel. Not only did he destroy the entire Purple Star civilization, but he's also going to devour an entire star. So the poetic sword sage is the star devourer that's been the talk of the town lately. How many more tricks does he have up his sleeves? Terrifying, the Purple Star civilization is truly gone. Countless cultivators, including the Hollow Immortals, were terrified. They secretly swore that they could offend anyone but Chu Kuangren in the future. Otherwise, not only would the people be gone, the civilization would be gone, and even the stars would be gone. This kind of method was too frightening. That firmament star is just an ordinary high-level cultivator civilization, yet they've produced such a freak. This is too scary. There aren't many immortal seeds like this in the whole universe, right? I think only those immortal physiques and second-generation immortals can compare. That's right. If nothing goes wrong, this person will definitely achieve great things in the broken immortal world. Multiple emperors' thoughts converged and circulated in the void. In the Purple Gold Galaxy, Chu Kuangren could be said to be the strongest cultivator. No one dared to provoke him and the firmament star behind him anymore. After all, the Purple Star civilization's fate was clear for all to see. That was Chu Kuangren's goal. To make an example out of them. Only by using his thunderous methods against the Purple Star civilization could the other civilizations and forces give up on him and the firmament star. In space, a huge planet was constantly collapsing. That was the Purple Star civilization. In the end, the Purple Star civilization collapsed and turned into a huge ball of light. Within it, there was a vague silhouette of a person. His heavy breathing echoed in space like a gale-force wind. It was Chu Kuangren. In the end, the Purple Star civilization's energy had completely dissipated. Chu Kuangren opened his eyes and stood up. With every move he made, starlight swirled and shook the void. With a gentle punch, a large piece of the void collapsed in front of him. Very good. I'm one step closer to the completion of the immortal physique. Coupled with the Heavenly Tao Master's cultivation, the 7 origin energies, and the Heavenly Tao's Heavenly Tao that I've devoured, my combat strength is now invincible in the Purple Gold Galaxy. Now, I just have to wait for the broken immortal world to descend. Chapter 9:18. The broken immortal realm had appeared. The immortal ascension path had opened. Every cultivator who witnessed this scene was tempted. Dozens of galaxies, including the Purple Gold Galaxy, were all rushing to the immortal ascension path, hoping to enter the broken immortal realm in search of opportunities of fortune. This situation led to all sorts of chaos. Cultivators from dozens of galaxies were all rushing to the same place. The closer they were to their destination, the more conflicts there were. Especially since a large portion of these cultivators were skyprides or even immortal seeds, they were prideful and arrogant, which made it easier for them to get into conflicts. Those who wanted to fight for treasures would compete with each other. What was even more ridiculous was that they would fight each other just because of a glance. Why are you looking at me? So what if I'm looking at you? Why don't you try looking at me again? That was the gist of it. In space, a warship was sailing. Chu Kuangren looked at the immortal ascension path that was getting closer and closer. His initial eagerness, anticipation, and excitement had now turned into calmness. However, along the way, he did encounter some people who were looking for trouble. Most of them were from other galaxies. It was Chu Kuangren's first time meeting people from other galaxies. Although they were far weaker than him, after some comparison, he felt that the overall strength of the purple-gold galaxy was not that great compared to the other galaxies. It was only below average. Clearly, there was a gap between galaxies. He had also heard that some galaxies had a few or even dozens of stars as energy sources to sustain the development of civilizations. Boom! At that moment, a wave of energy fluctuation came from afar. It was as if two parties were fighting. Chu Kuangren was already used to such occurrences. Throughout his journey, he had seen and even personally encountered quite a number of such occurrences. He did not want to be a busybody. However, just as he was about to pass by, a few warships flew towards him from afar. One of the warships that was on fire crashed straight towards him. It looked like it had lost control. Ah, the one in front, watch out! A scream came from that warship. Chu Kuangren frowned. If that warship crashed into him, his warship would be scrapped. He channeled his mind power and formed an invisible barrier, blocking the warship outside of his own warship. Then, a girl wearing a blue dress, about 1.5 meters tall, and a pair of fox ears fell from the warship. On the girl's forehead, there was a faint crescent moon mark. The young lady charged towards Chu Kuangren with a panicked look on her face. She could not even fly in the air, as if she did not have any cultivation base. Chu Kuangren ignored him. With a thought, he activated the warship's defensive array formation. A light screen instantly formed, and the girl would probably smash it. However, what surprised Chu Kuangren was that this young lady who did not seem to have any cultivation level was able to pass through the warship's defensive spell. Not only that, but the formation did not react at all. At that moment, Chu Kuangren sensed a strange fluctuation coming from the crescent moon mark on the fox-eared girl's forehead. Oh, interesting. Chu Kuangren smirked. Bang! Ouch! After the fox-eared girl penetrated the protective shield of the battleship, she fell directly onto the deck of the battleship and let out a cry of pain. She got up and rubbed her butt, then looked at Chu Kuangren with a hint of resentment. Seeing a beautiful girl like her fall so badly, and yet he was still so indifferent, calling him a human was just too cold-blooded. She carefully looked at Chu Kuangren, and then her eyes lit up. This human seems to be quite good-looking. I shall forgive him then. The fox-eared girl thought to herself. However, at that moment, a few battleships nearby had already approached them. Little Yao, where do you think you're going? A cold voice was heard. Upon hearing that voice, the fox-eared girl suddenly panicked, and she subconsciously wanted to seek protection. However, she looked around the battleship and could not find any place that could shelter her. The only person there was Chu Kuangren. Fellow human Taoist, are you alone here? The fox-eared girl quickly asked. Yes. Chu Kuangren nodded slightly. He had already activated the spirit of omniscience and was analyzing the fox-eared girl's information. The more he looked, the more interesting he felt. It's over. Upon hearing Chu Kuangren's words, the fox-eared girl's face suddenly became dejected, and then she sat on the ground as if she had accepted her fate. What bad luck, what bad luck. It's really over now. I haven't even found that irresponsible father of mine, and I can't believe I'm going to die here. Sob sob, I don't want this to happen. At that thought, the fox-eared girl started to cry. Her pea-sized tears fell like pearls from a broken necklace. Her tears were so pitiful that it made people's hearts ache. Chu Kuangren looked at her calmly from the side. Upon seeing that, the fox-eared girl felt that Chu Kuangren was even more cold-blooded. She was already crying so miserably, yet he did not even try to comfort her. Moreover, if she was caught, she would suffer even worse consequences. At that thought, she cried even harder. "Don't be noisy," Chu Kuangren said indifferently. However, the fox-eared girl ignored him and continued to cry. Not far away, a few battleships had already surrounded Chu Kuangren's battleship. Based on the battleship's performance, Chu Kuangren could tell that these people were definitely from a powerful civilization or force. At least, Purple Star's technology could not produce more than a few battleships. The battleship in front, hand over the fox demon. A cold voice was heard. A middle-aged man walked out of one of the battleships, and this middle-aged man was riding on a double-headed lion. There was a large group of cultivators next to him, and each of them had a beast with them. They were enslaving beasts. That triggered a memory in Chu Kuangren. In the Firmament Star, there used to be a force called the Craggy Ocean Tower that relied on enslaving beasts and beast souls to survive. Later on, they offended him and were destroyed by him. It seemed like these people were similar to the Craggy Ocean Tower. "Little fox, I'll give you two choices." At that moment, Chu Kuangren spoke. It was not to the battleship in front of him, but to the fox-eared girl beside him. The fox-eared girl did not seem to react to his words. She looked at Chu Kuangren, who was sobbing with a confused look in her red, swollen eyes. "What do you mean?" 1. Submit to me and serve me as your master, and I'll help you get rid of these people. 2. After I've dealt with them, I'll beat you up until you submit. Chu Kuangren said calmly. The fox-eared girl was a little confused. What's the difference? For the first option, you take the initiative and you won't have to suffer. For the second option, you'll have to suffer some physical pain, Chu Kuangren said. The cultivators nearby heard Chu Kuangren's words and their faces turned grim. Chu Kuangren's two choices showed that he had no intention of handing over the fox-eared girl. This guy wants to monopolize the Moonlight Fox. D***MN, the Moonlight Fox is extremely rare. We must control it in the hands of the Beast Hunter planet. We must not allow anyone else to touch it. The cultivators discussed among themselves. They looked at Chu Kuangren with hostility in their eyes. Meanwhile, on the battleship, the fox-eared girl was still sobbing as she thought about what Chu Kuangren said. Chapter 919. Kid, I'll give you one more chance. Hand over the Moonlight Fox obediently. That Moonlight Fox has the familiar collar that we refined. I can detonate it with just a thought. If you don't hand it over, I'll detonate it. At that time, no one will want it. On the warship opposite Chu Kuangren, the lion-riding cultivator said loudly as a powerful aura suddenly erupted from his body. The fox-eared girl could not help but shiver when she heard that. She touched the silver collar on her neck and felt a chill run down her spine. It was the feeling of not being able to control her own life and death. Oh, the Imperial Beast Collar. Is this the thing that completely sealed your cultivation? Chu Kuangren looked at the Moonlight Fox's collar and said. The fox-eared girl nodded repeatedly. It can seal your cultivation, but not your innate abilities. No wonder you could escape from them, Chu Kuangren said. Not far away, the middle-aged man's expression changed slightly. You really know about the Moonlight Fox and her abilities. I just found out. Chu Kuangren said lightly. The Moonlight Fox was an ancient and rare beast. Its cultivation talent was so strong that it could even be compared to divine beasts such as the true dragon and phoenix. More importantly, Moonlight Foxes had an incomparably powerful divine ability, and that was, to ignore formations and restrictions. It was a very powerful ability. After all, any place that contained great opportunities of fortune would often be protected by restrictive spells, making it difficult to explore. The Moonlight Fox's ability was so helpful in exploring opportunities of fortune that it was enough to attract countless cultivators. This ability directly gave the Moonlight Fox the same status and value as divine beasts. Initially, the Beast Hunter planet had captured the Moonlight Fox, locked it up, and even put the Imperial Beast collar on it. However, since it was their first time encountering a Moonlight Fox, they were inexperienced and did not know that the Imperial Beast collar could seal cultivation but not the Moonlight Fox's abilities. That was how the Moonlight Fox managed to escape. That was why they chased it all the way. As for detonating the Imperial Beast collar and killing a Moonlight Fox, they could not bear to do that. Kid, stop talking nonsense. Are you going to hand it over or not? If not, don't blame us for being rude, the middle-aged man said coldly. Come on. You're asking for it. Go. The middle-aged man snorted coldly. One by one, horrifying beasts flew out from the battleships around them. Each of them emanated a powerful aura as they charged towards Chu Kuangren. They're just a bunch of beasts that have lost their wildness. How are they a threat? Chu Kuangren said indifferently. With a single thought, thousands of weapons swept in all directions. With a loud bang, the beasts turned into ashes one by one. What? This strength, the master of the heavenly law. This person is actually a heavenly Tao Lord. Judging from his aura, he shouldn't be very old, but he's actually reached the heavenly Tao Lord realm. This is an immortal seed, and not an ordinary one at that. Immortal Seed Juggernaut. An immortal seed giant was someone who stood at the peak of immortal seeds. Even on the Beast Hunter planet, there was only one celestial seed giant. They didn't expect to meet one now. From the performance of his battleship, the civilization behind him doesn't seem to be able to nurture an immortal seed giant. Damn it, it's actually an immortal seed giant. Which galaxy and civilization are you from? The middle-aged man yelled. Chu Kuangren did not answer. A new round of spiritual power weapons gathered above him and aimed at the dozens of battleships in front of him. D***Mnet, Shadow Beast, go. The middle-aged man let out a low roar. Suddenly, a strange beast shadow rushed out from his shadow and charged towards Chu Kuangren. A sinister and eerie aura instantly locked onto Chu Kuangren. Demons and monsters, how dare you act so presumptuously? Chu Kuangren snorted coldly. He unleashed a punch. In an instant, his terrifying physical strength landed on the beast shadow, and the beast shadow was blasted into a cloud of blood mist. How? How is this possible? The middle-aged man sucked in a cold breath. The shadow beast that he had reared was as powerful as a heavenly Tao Lord. Even if Chu Kuangren was also a heavenly Tao Lord, how could he kill it with a single punch? This was completely illogical. Even if he was a celestial seed juggernaut, it was still too much. Could it be? Could it be a celestial seed king? No, that was impossible. A king among immortal seeds. Such a character was extremely rare in the entire universe. How did they meet one? D***Mnet. Since we can't get our hands on this Moonlight Fox, don't even think about getting it. The middle-aged man said hatefully. He then formed a mysterious seal with his hands. Suddenly, the silver necklace on the fox-eared girl's neck began to glow, and a look of horror appeared on her face. I don't want to die. Don't worry. With me here, you won't die even if you want to. Chu Kuangren said calmly. He then raised his hand and grabbed the silver necklace. The middle-aged man sneered. It's useless. This necklace can't be removed without a special technique. If you use external force to break it, it'll explode in an instant. However, his pupils shrank the next moment. He saw Chu Kuangren reach out and grab the necklace. Then, a strange fluctuation emanated from his body, and the necklace disappeared. How could this be? That fluctuation was a spatial technique. He used a spatial technique to remove the necklace. Before the middle-aged man could react, he suddenly felt something on his neck. Then, the surrounding cultivators looked at him in horror. Not good. The middle-aged man reached out and grabbed his neck. It was the necklace. The necklace had been transferred to his neck. He wanted to undo the self-destruct command on the necklace, but it was too late. In the next second, the necklace exploded. The middle-aged man's head turned into ashes on the spot, leaving behind a headless corpse on the deck. It twitched twice before it died. The fox-eared girl could not help but shiver. If it were not for Chu Kuangren, she would be the one lying on the ground now. The elder is dead. Run, run now. Quick, leave this place. The Beast Hunter planet's cultivators hurriedly tried to escape. However, in the next moment, densely packed spiritual power weapons covered the entire starry sky and rained down like a torrential downpour. The sound of the battleships exploding was heard one after another. Not long after, the starry sky was filled with battleship wreckage and corpses. Alright, what do you think of the two choices I gave you just now? Chu Kuangren looked at the fox-eared girl and said. Boss, I choose the first one. I'll surrender and listen to you from now on. If you tell me to go east, I won't go west. If you tell me to eat chicken, I won't eat rabbit. The fox-eared girl quickly expressed her stance. After witnessing Chu Kuangren's powerful strength, she had no room to resist at all. Hence, she gave in on the spot. Very well. Chu Kuangren nodded. You're very tactful. My name is Yu Yu. Yu as in moon, Yu as in joy. You can call me Lil Yu Yu, Lil Yu Yu, or Lil Yu Yu. What a mess. Just call me Lil Fox. As long as you're happy. Boss, what's your name? Chu Kuangren. TSK. What a mighty name. You sound like a dragon among men, a peerless powerhouse. You're indeed worthy of being called a boss. Lil Fox, you're quite good at flattering people. You must be joking, boss. I'm just telling the truth. Besides, you're a dragon among men. Even if you want to flatter someone, you should flatter them. Chu Kuangren was speechless. What the hell did I just accept? Chapter 920. Little Fox came from a high-level cultivator civilization in the Green Emperor Galaxy. That civilization was dominated by the beasts. Little Fox was the maiden sage of the Fox Demon tribe. However, she was not from that civilization. Instead, she was an outsider. When I was very young, I went to visit Sanyang and the others with my father, but he left me there for a few hundred years. This time, I'm here to look for my irresponsible father. I heard that he went to some immortal realm. Little Fox explained her situation on the warship. Chu Kuangren pondered. How are you so sure that the immortal realm your father went to is this immortal realm? There were no complete immortal realms in this universe. All that was scattered around the universe were fragments of the immortal realm, which were also known as the fragmented immortal realms. Perhaps Little Fox's father went to another fragmented immortal realm. I don't know either, but I thought that since they're all immortal realms, there might be some clues. That's why I came here. That's it? Yes, Chu Kuangren glanced at Little Fox. The little Taoist's cultivation level was not bad. It was no wonder she dared to venture out. However, she was unlucky to have met the people from the Beast Hunter planet not long after she left and was almost captured and enslaved. Boss, look, we're almost at the Immortal Ascension path. Little Fox suddenly stood up and exclaimed. She pointed at a place not far away that was shrouded in immortal light. That was the Immortal Ascension path. There were countless cultivators in the Immortal Ascension path. Many of these cultivators were standing in front of the white stone pillars, looking at the patterns on them as if they were trying to understand something. Little Fox could not help but feel strange when she saw that. Boss, what are they looking at? I think they're trying to understand these stone pillars. Little Fox fell into deep thought. I heard from Sanyang and the others that the path of immortal ascension in the immortal world is extremely mystical. It's said that when powerful immortals pass by, a phenomenon will appear on the path of immortal ascension to greet them. I wonder if that's true. It's an old rumor. It's hard to tell if it's true or not. Chu Kuangren said. There were many rumors about the immortal realm in the universe. However, no one knew how true these rumors were, especially for a young cultivator like Chu Kuangren. The time when the immortal realm was shattered was too long ago for them. It was an event that happened countless of years ago. It could even be traced back to the previous era. 129,600 years was a first year, and 129,600 first years was a universe epoch. An epoch was a very long time for immortals, and immortals who could live through an epoch were few and far between. Chu Kuangren steered the warship closer to the immortal ascension path. Right then, a young man slowly stepped into the path of immortal ascension. His steps were steady and there was a hint of arrogance between his brows. When he stepped onto the immortal ascension path, the white stone pillars on both sides suddenly trembled. The image of a dragon and a phoenix appeared above him and circled around. An auspicious aura filled the air, causing many people to be speechless. This is a supreme immortal seed. That's right. The path of immortal ascension will only react when greeting immortals. However, it will also react when encountering some immortal seeds that have the potential to become immortals. This young man is not simple. I heard that not long ago, when an immortal seed from the Green Royal Galaxy walked through the path of immortal ascension, there were 10 dragons and 10 phoenixes circling around it. It was a spectacular scene. No matter what, it must be an immortal seed giant. With that level of immortal seeds, as long as there are no accidents, they have at least a 20% chance of becoming immortals. They're much stronger than us. Yeah, there's no comparison, countless people discussed among themselves as they looked at the young man with the dragon and phoenix avatar above his head with envy. Under everyone's envious gaze, the young man arrived at the end of the path of immortal ascension and walked into the gate that led to the broken immortal realm. In a sense, this path of immortal ascension is also a tool to test one's immortal seed potential, Chu Kuangren murmured. Beside him, the little fox nodded. Only 1 dragon and 1 phoenix. If you were to go up there, you'd have at least 10 dragons and 10 phoenixes. Thank you for your kind words then. Chu Kuangren chuckled. At that moment, a few more warships came from afar, and one of them was closing in on Chu Kuangren. Brother Chu. A surprised voice came from the warship. Chu Kuangren looked over and saw the tri-absolute swordsman, Duan Muhang, and Shui Qianhua. They were all gold planets grade, 1 purple gold galaxy sky prides and immortal seeds. Evidently, these people were planning to explore the broken immortal realm. The one who called out to Chu Kuangren was the tri-absolute swordsman. He looked at Chu Kuangren. Brother Chu, you're here too. Greetings, everyone. Chu Kuangren nodded slightly. He had noticed that other than the purple gold galaxy's immortal seeds, there were also immortal seeds from other galaxies. Brother Chu, allow me to introduce you. These are immortal seeds from the Wind Cloud Galaxy. This is Hong Shui, and he's Yun Qianlu, the tri-absolute swordsman introduced them to Chu Kuangren. Chu Kuangren nodded in response. Meanwhile, these immortal seeds from the Wind Cloud Galaxy were secretly sizing Chu Kuangren up. Along the way, they had heard a lot about Chu Kuangren from the tri-absolute swordsman, so they were very curious about him. Other than his good looks, there's nothing special about him. The young immortal seed Yun Qianlu secretly pouted. Now that Chu Kuangren had ascended to become a heavenly Tao master, and his aura was hidden, it was difficult for ordinary cultivators to see through his cultivation level. However, some of the more intelligent cultivators could see that he was unfathomable. Although Yun Qianlu was also an immortal seed, he was not much stronger than the tri-absolute swordsman and the others. Hence, he could not see through Chu Kuangren. Only one immortal seed named Hong Shui looked at Chu Kuangren with a hint of seriousness in his eyes, as if he had met a formidable opponent. This aura. It's so profound that it's hard to fathom. What realm has this person reached? Hong Shui was secretly surprised. Brother Hong, look. Suddenly, Yun Qianlu noticed something. He looked at the little fox behind Chu Kuangren and stared at the faint silver crescent mark on her forehead. Is she the legendary Moonlight Fox? The Moonlight Fox was a powerful beast that was comparable to a divine beast. Its divine abilities and talents were even more sought after. That might be the case. Demonic Chi, fox ears, crescent mark. TSK, these all match the characteristics of a Moonlight Fox. It's very likely that she's the Moonlight Fox. What an opportunity of fortune. Hong Shui, Yun Qianlu, and the other immortal seeds converged their emperor's thoughts as they looked at the little fox. Their gazes gradually became heated, and they almost wanted to snatch it from her. Brother Chu, is this a beast that you're rearing? Yun Qianlu pretended to be calm as he asked Chu Kuangren. Chu Kuangren nodded slightly. Yes. This little fox looks quite obedient to me. The path to immortality is long, so it's good to have a pet to keep her company. I wonder if Brother Chu is willing to part with her. Yun Qianlu said. I'm sorry, but I'm keeping this little fox for myself. I have no intention of selling her. Chu Kuangren said as he reached out his hand to rub the little fox's head. It felt quite nice to the touch. The little fox's originally pink fox ears instantly became even pinker, and her face was flushed red. However, she did not refuse and stood there obediently. Chapter 921. How about this? I'm willing to pay 3 billion kilograms of spiritual marrow. What do you think? Yun Qianlu said arrogantly. 3 billion kilograms of spiritual marrow was enough to buy a top-notch great Taoist weapon or even a heavenly Taoist weapon. Putting aside the little fox's identity as a Moonlight Fox, its cultivation level was only that of an ordinary minor Taoist master. I've said it before. I'm not selling this little fox. Forget 3 billion kilograms of spiritual marrow. Even if it was 30 billion, Chu Kuangren would not be interested in it. 5 billion. Yun Qianlu frowned and raised his bid. Chu Kuangren remained unmoved. 1 immortal crystal. At that moment, Hong Shui spoke. The crowd could not help but gasp at his bid. It's an immortal crystal. F*CK this is too much. Immortal crystals were crystals that contained extremely pure spiritual power. 1 immortal crystal was equivalent to a few billion kilograms of spiritual marrow. More importantly, celestial crystals were called celestial crystals because they could be used to comprehend and strengthen one's origin energy. Although the effect was weak, it was extremely tempting to anyone below the immortal realm, especially those who had yet to gain insights into the origin energy. Even the top-notch heavenly Taoist masters would be tempted. I won't hide it from you. This Moonlight Fox is a rare beast, and I want to buy it, Hong Shui said straightforwardly. You're quite honest, but if you want to buy a Moonlight Fox with 1 immortal crystal, you're underestimating its value. Chu Kuangren said calmly. A fully grown Moonlight Fox was worth more than 10,000 immortal crystals, let alone 1 immortal crystal. I can only offer 1 immortal crystal now. Hong Shui said indifferently. Brother Hong, there's no need to waste your breath on him. No matter what, he must sell this Moonlight Fox today. Yun Qianlu snorted. Jian Sanju and the others did not look pleased at his words. My friends, don't you think it's a little childish to fall out over a fox? Jian Sanju said. What do you know? This is a Moonlight Fox we're talking about. Yun Qianlu sneered. Some civilizations would even start a civilization war just to fight for a beast like this. Besides, they were about to enter the shattered immortal world. If they had the help of the Moonlight Fox, it would be extremely useful. Ha, it seems like you guys are planning to force a deal. In that case, all I can say is... Chu Kuangren chuckled. Then, his gaze turned cold. Scram! The soft cry caused the expressions of Yun Qianlu, Hong Shui and the others to instantly turn gloomy. This was especially true for Yun Qianlu, who could not help but say coldly, you are refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. He raised his hand and grabbed at the Moonlight Fox behind Chu Kuangren. Emperor Qi surged out. Surprisingly, his cultivation base was at the peak of the little Tao Lord realm. A mere little Tao Lord dares to be impudent in front of me. He snorted coldly and casually threw a punch. With a bang, a figure was sent flying. Yun Qianlu clutched his trembling arm, his face filled with shock. This kind of physical strength, are you a cultivator specializing in body tempering? Chu Kuangren retracted his hand, too lazy to answer the other party. At the side, Heng Shue's expression was rather grave. You're indeed very powerful. You're indeed a formidable opponent. The energy on his body circulated, revealing a terrifying Daolord's aura. His cultivation level had reached the peak of the Tao Lord realm. He was only one step away from becoming a heavenly Tao master. Compared to the Gold Star and Purple Star first sequences, he was much stronger. Chu Kuangren could even vaguely sense the fluctuations of the origin from his body. Heng Shui had already gained enlightenment on the origin. This kind of celestial seed was already strong enough to be labeled as a great ruler. 8 Desolation Sea Suppression Fist. Heng Shui growled. As he lifted his arm, a huge amount of Emperor Qi gushed out, shaking the starry sky in all directions. With a punch, it was as if he was going to suppress the entire world. Furthermore, this punch also contained a strand of origin energy. This punch was enough to rival a heavenly Tao master. However, Chu Kuangren still calmly threw out a punch. With a loud bang, a huge amount of Emperor Qi and Heng Shue's origin energy crumbled, and Heng Shui was forced to retreat by nearly 100 feet. What? This person is definitely a celestial seed great ruler. The crowd exclaimed when they saw that. Heng Shue's expression was extremely solemn. He had used 70% of his strength in that punch just now, but Chu Kuangren still easily forced him to retreat. Chu Kuangren's strength was unimaginably strong. He was definitely stronger than Heng Shui. Brother Heng, let's attack together. Yun Qianlu yelled. No. Heng Shui had already recognized the gap in their strength and wanted to stop them. However, it was too late. Yun Qianlu channeled some kind of immortal technique and appeared in front of Chu Kuangren like a bolt of lightning. He clenched his fist and aimed it at Chu Kuangren's head. You're asking for a mile after giving me an inch. A cold murderous intent flashed in Chu Kuangren's eyes. He unleashed a punch that was even more violent than before, and it landed on Yun Qianlu's body. Boom! A cloud of blood mist exploded in the void. Yun Qianlu, the celestial seed, was killed before he could even react. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. It turned out that his opponent had not used his full strength just now. A top-notch celestial seed great ruler. I didn't expect him to be someone like that. The crowd was even more shocked. Heng Shui, on the other hand, did not want to fight anymore. He took a deep breath and said, "We're sorry for the offense. Farewell." Did I give you permission to leave? Chu Kuangren's cold voice rang. He looked at the few of them and said indifferently, "You want to leave just because you can't win? Who do you think I am? What else do you want?" Heng Shui took a deep breath and said, "What do you want? If you want to apologize, you should look like you're apologizing. Leave your yin and yang rings behind." Chu Kuangren said. "Impossible. In your dreams." The few celestial seeds behind Heng Shui were instantly furious. Their yin and yang rings were filled with the wealth and life-saving items that their orthodoxies or civilizations had given them during their trip to the shattered immortal world. How could they just hand over those items just like that? It's fine if you don't want to hand them over, but leave your lives behind. Chu Kuangren said calmly. His aura circulated, and his powerful aura shook the surroundings. Brother Taoist, always leave a way out. Do you really want to be so ruthless? Heng Shui took a deep breath and said. Leave the ring, leave your life, hurry up and choose. You. Heng Shui was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Knowing that he was no match for Chu Kuangren, he could only throw away the yin and yang ring in his hand. The other celestial seeds could only admit defeat when they saw that. After all, no matter how good a treasure was, they needed to be alive to enjoy it. After leaving behind the yin and yang ring, the few of them left dejectedly and walked into the immortal ascension path to enter the shattered immortal world. They swore that they would find an opportunity of fortune in the shattered immortal world and surpass Chu Kuangren in one fell swoop to avenge today's humiliation. Just as Hong Shui stepped into the immortal ascension path, the white stone pillars around him suddenly reacted. The dragon and phoenix carvings on the stone pillars seemed to have come to life, and several dragon and phoenix shadows hovered above his head. It was the auspicious dragon and phoenix phenomenon. This also symbolized the strength of Hong Shui's talent. The surrounding people exclaimed in surprise. Hong Shui was slightly comforted. A momentary failure is nothing. Chu Kuangren, just you wait, I will surpass you. Chapter 922. Within the path of immortal ascension, Hong Shui stepped within, the illusory figures of dragons and phoenixes circling around him. The surrounding cultivators exclaimed. The cultivators behind him also had looks of worship on their faces. As expected of Big Brother Hong, you're amazing. Yeah, it's too awesome. It's said that this path of immortal ascension is used to welcome immortals. But now that Big Bro Hong has arrived, there's an auspicious sign of a dragon and phoenix. This means that Big Bro Hong is destined to become an immortal in the future. Congratulations, Big Bro Hong. The few immortal seeds flattered him. Hong Shui laughed and said, thank you for your praise. He continued walking toward the end of the path of immortal ascension. A dragon and phoenix avatar circled above his head, making him look like an immortal who had attained the Tao. Pfft, what's there to be proud of? Boss, let's go. Let's show them what it means to be a true genius. Little Fox tugged at Chu Kuangren's sleeve and walked towards the immortal ascension path. Chu Kuangren said calmly, don't be arrogant, don't be impatient. The dragon and phoenix phenomenon, the name of the immortal seed. Xiao Qin had already gotten over all of these long ago. They were just some fancy things. Only one's own strength was the true guarantee. The little fox stuck out its tongue. Behind them, Jian Sanju and the others were also filled with anticipation. What do you think the Tao of Immortal Ascension will do if fellow Taoist Chu steps into it? How many dragons and phoenixes will appear? Sanju said. I don't know, but it's definitely more than Hong Shui. Indeed, fellow Chu's talent and strength are much more outstanding than Hong Shui's. I'm afraid he can attract dozens of dragons and phoenixes. The few of them said. Even the first sequence of Venus could only admire Chu Kuangren now. Apart from the Purple Gold Galaxy's immortal seed who knew of Chu Kuangren's true strength, the others were also looking at Chu Kuangren expectantly. After all, the strength he displayed earlier had already reached the level of a celestial seed giant, so he couldn't help but pay attention to him. I've been here for a few months, and the strongest immortal seed giant I've seen is 40 dragons and phoenixes. How far can this Chu Kuangren go? I've been here longer than you and was fortunate enough to see an immortal seed king attracting hundreds of dragons and phoenixes. That scene was truly shocking. Don't tell me this person has also reached the level of an immortal seed monarch. It'll probably be a little difficult, countless cultivators were whispering to each other. However, Chu Kuangren did not care about that at all. At this moment, he and the little fox had arrived at the path of immortal ascension. They looked at the towering white stone pillar curiously. The stone pillar was not solid. It was more like the manifestation of a type of Tao pattern. No wonder so many people were willing to stay in the immortal ascension path and study these stone pillars. Boss, let's go. Yes. Chu Kuangren nodded slightly. He stepped into the immortal ascension path. As soon as he stepped in, the entire path of immortal ascension began to shake. The stone pillars began to emit white light. What happened? F***ck, this guy hasn't even fully walked in yet. Everyone looked at Chu Kuangren in utter shock. He had only taken one step in, but the immortal ascension path was already shaking. What would happen if he came in with his whole body? The tremors in the immortal ascension path did not affect Chu Kuangren's footsteps at all. He slowly walked forward and entered the immortal ascension path. In an instant, all 9,999 stone pillars on the path of immortal ascension shone with white light at the same time. The light was so dazzling that it seemed like it was going to light up the entire universe. Countless almighty beings in the universe noticed the changes in the path of immortal ascension. What's wrong with the immortal ascension path? There's no record of such a phenomenon in the books. Could it be that some king immortal seed or immortal has appeared? Even immortal seeds like the true dragon and divine phoenix wouldn't cause such a big commotion. No, I'm afraid not even real immortals. What kind of existence would appear in the immortal ascension path? Many universe almighties looked curiously in the direction of the immortal ascension path. In the path of immortal ascension. The moment Chu Kuangren walked into it, the entire path of ascension shook. The dragon and phoenix carvings on the 9,999 white stone pillars seemed to have come to life as they let out earth-shattering roars and cries. One by one, the silhouettes of dragons and phoenixes soared into the sky and hovered above Chu Kuangren. Their auspicious lights lit up the entire sky. Not only that, but the rest of the celestial seeds' silhouettes also flew towards Chu Kuangren as if they were summoned. 10. 100. 1,000. 9,999 dragons and 9,999 phoenixes. In the end, all the dragons and phoenixes on the path of ascension came out in full force. In an instant, the dragons and phoenixes on the path of ascension soared into the sky. Their majestic aura complemented that white-robed figure, making him look like a supreme immortal king. The path of ascension that welcomed an immortal was like welcoming the king of the immortal realm. Everyone was dumbfounded. Everyone was dumbfounded. Even Sanju swordsman and the others who had witnessed Chu Kuangren's strength back in the purple gold galaxy could not help but be shocked by this scene. This had surpassed the realm of celestial seeds. Who the hell is he? Oh my god, this person can definitely become an immortal. 9,999 dragons and phoenixes welcoming him. This is the legendary formation that only immortal kings would have. Who the hell is he? Among the crowd, Hong Shui was dumbfounded. What was he thinking just now? Did he want to surpass this person? Was he kidding? When Hong Shui stepped into the path of ascension, there were already several dragons and phoenixes that responded to him. Yet this person had caused the entire path of ascension to tremble and summon dragons and phoenixes at once. How could there be any comparison? None. He had lost. It was a complete and utter defeat. Hong Shui could not help but think in sorrow. He no longer had the desire to surpass Chu Kuangren. His Taoist core was on the verge of collapsing at that moment. The only person who could remain calm was Chu Kuangren. He was dressed in a snow-white robe with a calm expression on his face. The crowd's shock and the unusual movements in the path of ascension did not seem to affect him at all. With countless dragons and phoenixes above his head, he walked steadily towards the end of the path of ascension. Big boss, wait for me. It was not until Chu Kuangren was a few dozen meters away that the little fox, who was still in a daze, regained her senses and quickly chased after him. She was now even more determined to follow Chu Kuangren. This was a true big boss. If she followed him, would she still have to worry about not having enough meat to eat? Now, even if Chu Kuangren were to chase the little fox away with a broom, she would not leave. The little fox caught up to Chu Kuangren and tugged on his sleeve. Looking at the countless dragons and phoenixes above her head, she felt valiant and high-spirited. She raised her head and puffed out her chest, looking proud and proud. Not long after, Chu Kuangren arrived at the end of the path of ascension. There was a huge door in front of him. He took a look at it and then walked in. The next moment, he appeared high up in the sky. Below them were undulating mountain ranges and rivers. Occasionally, countless rare birds and beasts would fly past. Is this the immortal realm? Chu Kuangren murmured. He could feel the abundant spiritual qi in the air, as well as the Taoist fluctuations that were everywhere in the unseen world. With a single thought of his emperor's thought, Everything within 100 million kilometers of him was reflected in his mind. Beasts, mountains, spiritual minds, Taoist medicines, all sorts of scenery and treasures appeared one after another. So this is the immortal realm. How amazing! The little fox walked out from behind him. She could not help but marvel at the scenery of the immortal realm before her. Chapter 9:23. The vastness of the immortal realm was truly awe-inspiring. Just as Chu Kuangren and the little fox were in awe, a few rays of light suddenly flew over from afar and surrounded Chu Kuangren. "Kid, hand over your yin and yang ring." Chu Kuangren frowned. What was this? Robbery? Was he robbed the moment he entered the immortal realm? Who are you people? The little fox stared at the people in front of her with a guarded expression. It doesn't matter who we are. As outsiders, hand over your yin and yang ring. If I'm in a good mood, I can even recommend you to join the Divine Flame Church. A middle-aged man in a red Taoist robe with a flame pattern on it chuckled as if he already had Chu Kuangren and the little fox in his grasp. Meanwhile, Chu Kuangren had already activated his spirit of omniscience when these people arrived, and he had already analyzed all of their information. He had a general understanding of their origins. What he was more interested in was the word outsider. Looks like there are natives in this broken immortal world. The immortal realm was broken into pieces, and there were countless living beings in these broken worlds who continued to develop in the immortal realm. These people were the natives of the immortal realm. To them, Chu Kuangren was an outsider. The spirit of omniscience said, also, according to the analysis, this immortal realm nurtures a will similar to the heavenly Tao. The will of the immortal realm? Chu Kuangren was intrigued. What are you spacing out for? It looks like you don't want to hand it over. Then don't blame us for being rude. The middle-aged man who claimed to be from the Divine Flame Church snorted and took a step forward. A crimson flame appeared in his hand and it was filled with scorching heat as he threw it at Chu Kuangren. Chu Kuangren gently raised his hand and the crimson flame was instantly shattered by a huge force, turning into countless sparks that scattered in all directions. Oh, this strength, and it's an immortal seed. The middle-aged man's eyes lit up. He then continued, "Kid, seeing that you're an immortal seed, as long as you join the Divine Flame Church and work for us, I can spare your life. What do you say? If you want me to be the leader, I'll consider it. You have a death wish." A cold light shot out from the middle-aged man's eyes. A long spear appeared in his hand, and he raised it and thrust it towards Chu Kuangren. The force of the spear was so strong that it set off a storm in the void. In the outside world, this spear was enough to tear through the void. However, the spatial structure of the immortal world was extremely stable. This spear could only create a storm in the void, but it was unable to tear the void apart. Chu Kuangren made a mental note of that. At the same time, he grabbed the spearhead with his hand. What? The middle-aged man's expression changed. How could his spear be so easily caught? What kind of strength did this person have? Chu Kuangren exerted a little strength and grabbed the spear. Then, he pulled it out with a backhand and smashed it on the middle-aged man's head. With a bang, the head exploded like a watermelon. When the others saw this, their expressions changed. I've run into a tough one. This won't do. I have to leave as soon as possible. Not good, this person is no ordinary immortal seed. Run. They wanted to leave. One of them used some kind of movement technique and was the fastest. His whole body seemed to have turned into a fiery meteor as he flew into the distance. Upon seeing that, Chu Kuangren hurled the spear in his hand. The spear pierced through the air and let out a deafening sonic boom. The person who escaped the fastest also died the fastest. The spear caught up to him and pierced through his chest, causing him to fall to the ground. Like a hot knife through butter, the spear landed on a huge mountain in the distance, directly piercing more than half of the mountain. As for the others, they were shrouded in Chu Kuangren's little world. Their whole bodies were fixed in mid-air, unable to move. What? What are you trying to do? One of the cultivators said with a trembling voice. I'm not trying to do anything. I just want to ask some questions. Chu Kuangren said calmly. Suddenly, a circle of ripples appeared in the void. The immortal door behind Chu Kuangren had disappeared. Seeing this, he fell into deep thought. The door on the outside is fixed, but the door on the inside changes randomly. He did not think about it anymore. Master, what do you want to ask? As long as we know, we'll tell you everything we know. One of the cultivators quickly said. Chu Kuangren then asked about the situation in the Broken Immortal Realm. Soon, he learned that the Broken Immortal Realm was named the Green Orchid Immortal Realm by the natives, and there were many orthodoxies there. Moreover, the Green Orchid Immortal Realm was in a floating state. Every once in a while, it would appear in the universe, and every time it appeared, it would attract many cultivators like Chu Kuangren who came for the opportunities of fortune. They were the outsiders in the eyes of the natives. In the eyes of the natives, outsiders like them were here to fight for the immortal realm's resources, so they would not be kind to them. Therefore, the outsiders did not have a good situation in the Green Orchid Immortal Realm. Those who could really make a name for themselves were mostly attached to some of the natives. As for the outsiders who fought alone, they were extremely suppressed. Sometimes, it was even worse than when they were in the outside world. The strong prey on the weak. That's the law of the jungle. Chu Kuangren chuckled. With that, he moved his mind power, and the few cultivators from the Divine Flame cult were easily crushed into clouds of blood mist by him. Let's go. Chu Kuangren said to the little fox beside him. Boss, where are we going next? There's a city in front. Let's go there and have a look. Besides the ancient orthodoxies, the Green Orchid Immortal Realm also had 108 cultivation cities. Each city was equivalent to a top-notch cultivation orthodoxy, and with all 108 cities combined, even the ancient immortal orthodoxies would not dare to underestimate them. The ancient Sparrow City was one of the 108 cultivation cities. I heard that the Green Orchid Immortal Realm has appeared again. It seems that another group of outsiders is coming. Let them come. It's not the first time anyway. Besides those top-notch immortal seeds, how many outsiders can make a name for themselves in the Green Orchid Immortal Realm? They're all like us. Yeah, there are quite a few outsiders in our guards. They're the ones who do the most difficult and tiring work. At the entrance of the ancient Sparrow City, a few guards were chatting. When they mentioned outsiders, there was a hint of disdain in their eyes. At that moment, two figures slowly walked over from afar. One of them was a young lady with a pair of pink fox ears, which made her look very cute. As for the other, her face was shrouded in a faint spiritual light. Her facial features were blurry, but her temperament was extraordinary. However, that was not what the guards were more concerned about. This aura, it's an outsider. Such an obvious outsider's aura. He must have just arrived in the Green Orchid Immortal Realm recently. Every cultivator born in a star or a civilization would more or less carry the aura of their birthplace. As an outsider, Chu Kuangren's aura was very different from the natives of the Green Orchid Immortal Realm. Every outsider had to live in the Green Orchid Immortal Realm for hundreds or thousands of years before they could slowly erase this aura. Chapter 924. Outsiders, if you wish to enter the city, you must first pay the spiritual marrows. Oh, how much is it? Chu Kuangren asked. 100,000 kilograms of spiritual marrows. 1,000,000. Chu Kuangren pondered for a while. It was not much, so he threw out a yin and yang ring and said, take it. This is for one person. There's one more. One of the guards pointed at Little Fox and said. Chu Kuangren turned to look at her. Do you have any spiritual marrows? Little Fox said pitifully, Boss, my yin and yang ring has been taken by the people from the Beast Hunter planet. I don't even have half of it left. Forget it. Chu Kuangren threw out another yin and yang ring. The guard's eyes lit up when he saw that. He then looked at the two yin and yang rings in his hand. TSK, you're quite rich. We can go in now. Go in. Remember, as outsiders, you better behave and don't cause trouble, one of the guards warned. Chu Kuangren did not say a word. TSK, this Azure Orchid Immortal Realm is full of evil toward outsiders. Wait. Just as the two were about to enter the city, a voice was heard. A man in black armor walked up to them. General. Greetings, General. The guards bowed respectfully. The general took the yin and yang ring from the guard and said, if you wish to enter the city, you'll have to pay another 100 million spiritual marrows. Chu Kuangren frowned. Why? Because she's a demon. The general pointed at Little Fox and said. Is there a difference? I don't like these furry and armored people. If you wish to enter the city, you'll have to pay more spiritual marrows. Otherwise, get lost. The general said coldly, seeing how you can casually throw out 2 million spiritual marrows, I don't think it'll be difficult for you to fork out another 100 million. Not far away, a young man riding a lion slowly entered the city. He was not stopped at all. Why can he enter? Isn't he riding a demon? Chu Kuangren pointed at the young man. Cut the crap. Are you going to pay up or not? The general snorted. The guards at the side also had a playful look on their faces when they saw this scene. You guys are just trying to scam us. What demon race identity is just an excuse? Little Fox was infuriated beyond words. Nonsense, hand it over. You, the little fox gnashed its teeth in anger. Chu Kuangren reached out his hand and patted her head. I didn't want to cause any trouble at first, but unfortunately, there are always people who want more. As soon as he finished speaking, an invisible force of will gushed out. That general was just an ordinary Taoist master, so there was no way he could withstand Chu Kuangren's mind power. His bones and flesh were crushed, and his entire body fell to the ground like a pile of mud, no longer breathing. Seeing this scene, the rest of the guards turned pale with fright. You actually dare to cause trouble in the ancient Sparrow City? Outsider, are you tired of living? A guard said in fright. Who was the one who started it? Chu Kuangren raised his hand and took back the 2 yin and yang rings that he had given out earlier. Then, he brought the little fox with him and headed straight into the city. The guards stood where they were, not daring to stop them. Compared to Chu Kuangren, their strength was not even worth mentioning. Quick, go and report to the city lord's mansion. A guard hurriedly said. Upon entering the city, Chu Kuangren could sense that many people were looking at him and the little fox with a sense of scrutiny. Oh, such an obvious outsider's aura. It looks like she's only recently arrived in the Green Orchid Immortal world. Tisk tsk, look at that little fox beside her. She looks quite cute, and judging from her aura, she's a Taoist master. Taoist master? Wow, that's impressive. Many people pointed at Chu Kuangren and the little fox. However, they did not do anything to them. After all, although they did not like outsiders, they did not want to cause trouble. Not to mention that the little fox was a Taoist master. The people of the immortal realm are too unfriendly towards us. The little fox frowned and could not help but move closer to Chu Kuangren, as if that would make her feel more secure. That's normal. Resources are limited everywhere, and the immortal realm is no exception, let alone a broken immortal realm. Didn't we come here for the opportunities of fortune and resources here? To them, we're here to compete with them for the opportunities of fortune and resources, so it would be strange if they had a good impression of us. Chu Kuangren said calmly. As he spoke, he arrived at a tavern. After ordering 2 pots of wine, he leaned against the window and used his emperor's thought to scan the ancient Sparrow City, collecting all kinds of information. Ancient Sparrow City, the City Lord's Manor, the 3 great families, the Immortal Orthodoxies, the Divine Flame Church, the Sky Fire Grotto. All kinds of information flooded into his mind. These would become the foundation for Chu Kuangren's next move. Outsider, who allowed you to drink here? Suddenly, a young man with a few people walked towards Chu Kuangren and the little fox with hostility in his eyes. Don't disturb me, I'm collecting information. Chu Kuangren did not bother to say anything else. He raised his hand and unleashed his mind power, which enveloped the few people and threw them out of the tavern. F***ck, this outsider is too arrogant. D***mn it. What a powerful mind power. The young man and the others were about to go and settle the score with Chu Kuangren. However, at that moment, a series of uniformed footsteps rang out. Hundreds and thousands of fully armed soldiers were rushing towards the tavern. What's going on? What are these people trying to do? The leader of this group of soldiers was a young man in silver-white armor. He looked at the tavern and yelled, "Outsider inside, listen up. You've been surrounded. Surrender now." The cultivators in the tavern were shocked. The city guards are going to arrest outsiders? This is bad. Let's leave now before we get caught in the crossfire. Not daring to stay any longer, the group quickly left the tavern. Very soon, the once bustling restaurant became extremely deserted. Other than Chu Kuangren and the little fox, there was only a drunken old man who was curled up in a corner, hugging a jar of wine in his arms. His hair was unkempt and his face was dirty. "Boss, it looks like they're here to arrest us." The little fox looked at the soldiers outside the tavern and said. Of course. Chu Kuangren had just killed a guard at the city gate. It would be strange if the ancient Sparrow City Lord did not take action. What do we do now? Let's stay put. Chu Kuangren had sensed that the strongest cultivators in ancient Sparrow City were only false immortals. With his strength, he could handle them. Outsider, I'll give you one more chance. If you don't surrender now, you'll have to bear the consequences. The silver-armored general said coldly. Oh, you keep calling me an outsider. Aren't you from the immortal realm too? Chu Kuangren glanced at the general and said. He also sensed a foreign aura from the other party's body. Although it was very weak, it couldn't hide from his senses. It seemed like the general had been in the immortal realm for quite some time. Otherwise, the foreign aura would not have weakened to such an extent. You're asking for it. The silver-armored general's expression darkened as if he was angered by Chu Kuangren's words. Go. Execute them on the spot. At his command, the soldiers immediately charged towards Chu Kuangren. Their auras exploded, and they were all emperors. However, as if they had encountered an irresistible force, the soldiers exploded one after another, turning into a rain of blood. You're all too weak. If you want to kill me, ask your city lord to come here himself. Perhaps then you might stand a chance. Chapter 925. How powerful. This person is definitely a heavenly lord. The cultivators on the street exclaimed. Chu Kuangren, the instigator of all this, was still sitting quietly by the window with an indifferent expression. He was unmoved by what was happening. The silver-armored general snorted and unleashed a powerful aura before he charged towards Chu Kuangren. His strength had reached the heavenly lord realm. When he waved the spear in his hand, a strong gust of wind seemed to tear the void apart. Die, outsider! The silver-armored general snorted. You're also an outsider, yet you keep calling me an outsider. What a joke. Chu Kuangren could not help but chuckle. In the Green Orchid Immortal Realm, many outsiders worked hard to integrate themselves into the Immortal Realm so that they would not be discriminated against by the Immortal Realm's natives. Some even despised their outsider identities. They were even more oppressive towards outsiders than the natives. It was as if that was the only way they could get rid of their outsider identities. By oppressing outsiders, they could get rid of the fact that they were outsiders as well, in order to gain the recognition of the Immortal Realm's natives. Chu Kuangren could only describe such a thing as ridiculous. He ignored the silver-armored general's spear and unleashed his emperor's chi, which landed on the general's body. The sound of bones cracking was heard, and the silver-armored general was hit by that terrifying force. He was sent flying and crashed into a building. After that, there was no more movement from him. You're awesome, boss. The little fox cheered excitedly from the side. Among the crowd, a gaze fell upon Chu Kuangren and the little fox behind him with an inexplicable glint in their eyes. This person is too powerful for us to handle. We must let the higher-ups deal with him. A celestial seed overlord? The rest of the soldiers knew that they were no match for him, so they quickly contacted their higher-ups. Far away, a powerful burst of energy erupted. 2 rays of light flew over. Judging from their energy, they were both late-stage heavenly lords. A late-stage heavenly lord was considered a top-notch below immortal. How dare you fight in the ancient Sparrow City? When the 2 late-stage heavenly Tao masters arrived at the inn, their auras immediately locked onto Chu Kuangren. Their domineering auras engulfed the entire place. It's a little troublesome if they come one by one. Why don't I just kill my way into the city hall? Chu Kuangren's eyes flashed with a cold murderous intent. Just when Chu Kuangren was about to make his move, another white ray of light flew over from afar and blocked the way of the 2 late-stage heavenly Tao master generals. It was a sage-like old man with white hair and a white robe. Seeing this person, the 2 generals' gazes froze as if they were afraid. Elder Ancestor Bai, what are you doing here? Elder Ancestor Bai smiled faintly and said, Generals, this person is fated to be with the Bai family. I can't sit back and watch you hurt him. Oh, the Bai family is openly opposing the city lord's mansion? A general said in an unfriendly tone. Over the years, the Bai family had been growing stronger and stronger, and there was a faint tendency to contend with the city lord's mansion. This had always been a sore point for the city lord. Naturally, they were aware of this. However, they did not expect the Bai family to have the guts to appear in front of everyone and protect the person the city lord's mansion wanted to kill. Generals, you've misunderstood me. I have no intention of opposing the city lord's mansion. It's just that I've investigated this matter. At the city gate, it was because one of the guards picked a fight for no reason and forcefully collected the spirit marrows. That angered this young man. As for what happened after that, this young man was just trying to protect himself. Elder Ancestor Bai said. No matter what, this person killed the guards and disrupted the order of the ancient Sparrow City. He must be executed on the spot. That's right. Elder Ancestor Bai, you better step aside. Elder Ancestor Bai pondered for a while before he took out a yin and yang ring and said, there are 10 billion spirit marrows in here. The Bai family will be responsible for the losses and troubles this young man has caused. How does that sound? Seeing that yin and yang ring, the 2 generals' eyes flashed. They seemed to be a little tempted, but they did not immediately agree to it. At that moment, as if they had received a message, their eyes lit up and one of them said, add another 10 billion. Elder Ancestor Bai gritted his teeth. Deal. He took out another 10 billion spirit marrows, giving a total of 20 billion to the 2 generals. Then, can I take this little friend away now? Bai family, you're on your own now. One of the generals snorted and retreated. Why do you think the city lord let this person go? The Bai family is growing stronger by the day, and the city lord is planning to deal with them. Perhaps he wants to use this person as a starting point. Besides, the Bai family would not protect someone for no reason. This person must have some secrets on him. The 2 generals talked as they left. Chu Kuangren watched everything unfold in the restaurant with a playful look in his eyes. Beside him, the little fox was puzzled too. Boss, what's going on? You'll find out soon. Chu Kuangren smiled. At that moment, the Bai family's elder ancestor had already arrived in front of Chu Kuangren with a young man. However, the Bai family's elder ancestor did not look at Chu Kuangren first, but at the little fox who was hiding behind him. Chu Kuangren chuckled to himself. Greetings, fellow Taoist. I'm Bai Yeyue from the Bai family. The young man said. Chu Kuangren glanced at him. Despite his young age, his cultivation level was already at the late-stage Taoist master level. He was a peerless fairy seed. Of course, Chu Kuangren did not take him seriously. I'm Chu Kuangren. Brother Chu, you must be wondering why we're helping you. Indeed, we have a request for our help. We hope that you can use the Moonlight Fox beside you to do something for the Bai family. Bai Yeyue did not beat around the bush and directly stated his purpose. Oh, what if I say no? Brother Chu, we've helped you. I hope you won't bite the hand that feeds you, Bai Yeyue said indifferently. Did I beg you to help me? If the Bai family had not suddenly intervened, he would have killed his way to the city lord's residence and put his sword on the ancient sparrow city lord's neck. Rather than saying that the Bai family had saved him. It was more accurate to say that they had saved the city lord's residence. Bai Yeyue's expression turned cold. However, the Bai family's elder ancestors stopped him and looked at Chu Kuangren with a smile. Brother Chu, why don't you listen to what we want you to do? Perhaps it'll be of some help to you. Tell me about it then. Chu Kuangren said with interest. This is not a suitable place to talk. Why don't you follow me to the Bai family? The Bai family's elder ancestor smiled. Sure. Chu Kuangren said calmly. He was not afraid that the Bai family would play any tricks. With his current strength, he could go anywhere in this vast world unless a true immortal intervened. In the inn, a drunken old man holding a wine jar watched Chu Kuangren's back as he left. He let out a drunken burp and murmured, "What a great celestial seed cultivator. It's too bad the Bai family has their eyes on him." Then, he laughed at himself. What does this have to do with me? I'm just a useless person now. Chapter 926. The Bai family. The Bai family was especially lively today. The news of the Bai family's elder ancestor protecting someone had spread far and wide. Some of the elders in the Bai family had some complaints about it. After all, the Bai family was not on good terms with the city hall, yet they still had to protect an outsider. Was that not adding fuel to the fire? However, since it was the Bai family's elder ancestor who did it, they had nothing to say. However, Chu Kuangren was different. They did not have a good impression of an outsider. He came to the Bai family and even covered his face with a spiritual light. One look and I can tell he's not a good person, a young man muttered. The others around him agreed too. After all, they were prejudiced against Chu Kuangren no matter how they looked at him. However, Chu Kuangren did not care about their comments. Brother Chu, I called you here mainly because of the Sky Fire Grotto, the Bai family's elder ancestor said. The Sky Fire Grotto, Chu Kuangren's eyes lit up. He had heard of the Sky Fire Grotto when he was collecting information. It was the residence of a person called the Sky Fire Taoist. He was an ancient strong cultivator who had even reached the level of an immortal. But later on, this Taoist heaven fire died and his abode disappeared along with him. It was only recently that it was discovered. The Bai family was one of the discoverers. Besides them, there were several other forces such as the City Hall, Divine Flame Church, Blue Cloud City, and so on. These forces were preparing to send people to explore the cave. The Sky Fire Grotto is the residence of the Sky Fire Taoist. There are many restrictions inside. I hope you can use the Moonlight Fox's ability to help me explore this cave. Of course, the Bai family will split the treasures 30-70. How does that sound? The Bai family's elder ancestor smiled. I'll take 30 and you'll take 70. That's too much of a bargain. This heavenly fire wonderland has already been sealed by a few of our forces. It's hard for outsiders to enter. Brother Chu, it's already a great fortune for me to let you be the representative of the Bai clan. Not to mention, there's also a share of the treasures. You should be satisfied. I'm contributing, and you're only contributing one spot. I don't think it's worth it no matter how I look at it. How about this, 50-50? The Bai family's elder ancestor said. Chu Kuangren smiled indifferently. No, we'll do as you said. 3-7, but it'll be 7 for me and 3 for you. Brother Chu, you're going too far. Don't forget who saved you just now. Also, if it wasn't for my Bai clan, you wouldn't have been able to enter the Heavenly Fire Wonderland. Don't even think about getting 73%. Bai Yue said with a gloomy face. Then there's nothing to talk about. Alright, then we'll do as fellow Chu says. You get 70% and I get 30%. Elder Ancestor Bai took a deep breath and said. A strange look flashed across Chu Kuangren's eyes. Oh, he really agreed. Then it's settled. There are still a few days left until the appointed time to explore the heavenly abode. Fellow Daoist Chu, you can stay at our Bai clan for the time being. Elder Ancestor Bai said as he ordered someone to bring Chu Kuangren away to rest. After Chu Kuangren left, Bai Yue asked in confusion, Forefather, a 73 split is too much. Why did you agree to that, kid? 70-30. Don't even think about getting it. Elder Ancestor Bai, who was originally kind and gentle, suddenly had a dark look in his eyes. It's just that this person's strength is extraordinary, so I can use him for the time being. Once the heavenly abode is explored, be it the treasures in the heavenly abode or the Moonlight Fox, the Bai clan wants it all. I see. Bai Yue also let out a cold smile when she heard that. The Bai clan arranged a house for Chu Kuangren. On the other hand, Chu Kuangren set up some restrictions at his place. Apart from Little Fox, no one else could come and go as they pleased. Boss, the Bai clan seems to be up to no good. Little Fox reminded him from the side. Ha, do you think I don't know if even you can sense it? However, I'm a little interested in the heavenly abode, and they're up to no good. Am I a lamb waiting to be slaughtered? Who knows if I'll be a lamb in a wolf's den or a tiger in a sheep's den? Chu Kuangren smiled playfully. Little Fox could not help but recall the majestic scene of the dragon and phoenix on the path of ascension. She could not help but silently mourn for the Bai clan for 3 seconds. These people have no idea how terrifying of a person they've set their eyes on. Alright, I'm going to refine the immortal crystal. Guard me from the side, Chu Kuangren said. He took out a milky white prismatic crystal the size of a baby's fist. It was one of the immortal crystals he obtained from Hong Shui. Guard? Little Fox was excited when she heard that. She immediately stood up straight and patted her chest. Don't worry, boss. As long as I'm here, no one can get close to you. Then I'll have to trouble you. Chu Kuangren began to refine the immortal crystal in his hand. Little Fox did not dare to disturb him. Instead, she kept her guard up. She was a little excited. Guard? Generally speaking, cultivators would only look for someone they trusted to protect them. Since Chu Kuangren was asking her to protect him, did that not mean that he had already treated her as someone he could trust? Oh, no, a fox. Little Fox's heart was filled with joy when she thought of that. She looked at Chu Kuangren's handsome face that was now devoid of spiritual light. No one knew what she was thinking, but her face was a little red. No, don't let your thoughts run wild. Since you trust me so much, I must guard you well and not let anyone get close. Little Fox shook her head and said. At that moment, Chu Kuangren, who was refining the immortal crystal, was not completely oblivious to the outside world. He had 3 souls, so he had to split one of them to observe the outside world. It made no difference whether Little Fox was there or not. Chu Kuangren would not easily entrust his safety to others. Not to mention a fox that he had not known for long. Little Fox, what is she thinking? Chu Kuangren could not help but shake his head when he saw the change in Little Fox's expression. It did not take long for Chu Kuangren to completely refine the immortal crystal in his hand. He could feel that his origin energy had grown a little stronger. Although it was not obvious, he could still feel it. The immortal crystal's function is more to strengthen the origin energy that I already have. However, it's not practical to rely on a few immortal crystals to develop a new origin energy. Immortal techniques and physique are still the most important things in my cultivation from now on. Chu Kuangren murmured. He got up and prepared to go out for a walk. Hey, boss, have you finished refining the immortal crystal? Yeah, that's too fast. Little Fox was dumbfounded. She looked at the sky outside and saw that it was dawn. It had only taken him one night. Are immortal crystals that easy to refine? Little Fox was a little confused. In the end, she could only conclude that Chu Kuangren was different from ordinary people. Boss, you're indeed the boss. You're different in every way. Little Fox exclaimed. Then, she followed behind Chu Kuangren like a little tail. Brother Chu, are you going out? Chu Kuangren had only taken a few steps when he bumped into Bai Yeyue. When she saw where he was going, her eyes flashed. Don't worry, I won't leave before the matter at Skyfire Grotto is over. Chu Kuangren said calmly. He then walked past her and left the Bai residence with Little Fox without looking back. Get someone to follow him. Bai Yeyue snorted coldly and said to the void. Soon, a few shadows followed Chu Kuangren. Chu Kuangren, Celestial Seed Overlord. Even if you're an Celestial Seed Overlord, you're still an outsider. Once the matter at Skyfire Grotto is over, I'll make sure you die. A cold glint flashed across Bai Yeyue's eyes. He was also a peerless celestial seed, but compared to Chu Kuangren, there was still a huge gap. This kind of difference in talent made him feel jealous. Chapter 927. Ancient Sparrow City. Inside a restaurant. Chu Kuangren ordered a pot of wine from the waiter. Due to his previous battle with the city guards, many people knew that he was not someone to be trifled with, so no one dared to provoke him. In the immortal realm, even if one was an outsider, as long as one had the ability, one would be treated like a lord wherever one went. Old beggar, you're here to steal wine again. Get out of my sight. A shout came from not far away. An old man was thrown out by the owner of the restaurant. The wine jar in his hand fell to the ground, spilling wine all over the floor. The old man's face was flushed red as he lay on the ground, reeking of alcohol. The surrounding customers were all dressed in fancy clothes. As if they were afraid of being tarnished, they spat on the ground in disgust and took a few steps back. Chu Kuangren glanced at them, and a strange look flashed across his eyes. Waiter, let that old man in. Let him drink whatever he wants and put it all on my tab, Chu Kuangren said calmly. The waiter was a little confused when he heard that. The old man was quite surprised too. The waiter was a little hesitant. Master, this old man is so sloppy. I'm afraid he'll disturb the other customers if he comes in. There's 100 million spiritual marrows here. I'll book this restaurant. Chu Kuangren threw out a yin and yang ring and said. 100 million spiritual marrows was more than most cultivators could spend in their lifetime. The waiter's eyes lit up when he caught the yin and yang ring. Not far away, the manager walked up with a flattering smile. Master, you can book this restaurant if you want. I'll arrange it right away. How dare an outsider be so arrogant? Do you think you can book this restaurant just like that? Do you really think we don't exist? A cultivator could not help but shout. That's right, outsider. Don't be too arrogant. I won't leave today. Many cultivators agreed. Boom. At that moment, a terrifying murderous intent swept across like a raging wave. The entire restaurant instantly felt like it had fallen into an ice cellar. Those people who were still clamoring were like ducks that had their necks strangled. They suddenly couldn't say a word. I said I'll book this restaurant. Scram. A soft shout was heard, and the terrifying murderous intent almost solidified. Everyone couldn't help but shiver. When the killing intent disappeared, the customers in the restaurant didn't dare to stay any longer. They ran away faster than rabbits. That killing intent. How many people did he have to kill to have that? It was too terrifying. Could it be that this guy had slaughtered an entire civilization? Everyone thought to themselves. Compared to the terrified crowd, the old man who stole the wine was much calmer. He was just a little surprised that Chu Kuangren would suddenly invite him for a drink. He sat down in front of Chu Kuangren. Thank you so much, little friend. However, I've never met you before, so why are you treating me to a drink? To be able to drink with one of the 7 champions, who knows how many people yearn for such an opportunity. Since there is such an opportunity, I will not miss it. Chu Kuangren said indifferently. This was the information he analyzed with the omniscient spirit. 7 crowns, this was an extremely resounding name in the Qinglan immortal world. It referred to the immortals who stood at the peak of the Tao of 7 weapons. The old man in front of him was one of the 7 crowns, Jian Guan. Jian Guan, Li Juexin. Upon hearing Chu Kuangren mention his previous name, Jian Guan's eyes lit up. Suddenly, a terrifying sword pressure was brewing on his body. Beside him, Little Fox could not help but turn pale. When the waiter who went to get the wine returned, Jian Guan retracted his aura and looked dejected. What sword, Guan? I've been crippled a long time ago. Now I'm just an old man who lingers in a tavern. Little Fox was speechless. If he still had such a terrifying aura after being crippled, then how terrifying would his strength be when he was not crippled? Was this the power of an immortal? Chu Kuangren did not speak. Obviously, he knew. The omniscient spirit's analysis also included Sword Guan's physical state. Although he was an immortal, he had been severely injured. All the immortal primordial energy in his body was used to suppress his injuries, so he could not use his strength at all. Otherwise, if his injuries were to erupt, he would definitely die. In such a situation, it was more accurate to say that he was crippled. Little friend, are you a sword cultivator? Jian Guan suddenly asked. He saw the descendant self-sword hanging on Chu Kuangren's waist. Chu Kuangren nodded slightly. You can say that. You can say that. My techniques are not limited to sword Dao. Chu Kuangren said calmly. I see. Since you've treated me to a drink, I'll give you a word of warning. No matter what the Bai clan wants from you, they're definitely up to no good. Be careful, Jian Guan said. Ha, me too. Chu Kuangren smirked. The Bai clan wanted to gain some benefits through him, but he also wanted to enter the Empyrean Fire Paradise through the Bai clan. It seems like the Bai clan has brought trouble upon themselves. Let's not talk about this. Let's drink. Chu Kuangren smiled. The two drank and chatted for a while. Jian Guan seemed to have found someone to talk to. As he drank, he talked about how glorious he was in the past. About crossing the sunken ocean alone, killing 1,000 dragons with a single sword, about taking in the wind and clouds with a wave of his sleeves, condensing chi into a sword, and destroying hundreds of cities. Not far away, the waiter and the innkeeper snorted. If you were really that powerful, would you have fallen to such a state today? TSK, damn drunkard, you're good at bragging. It's a pity that I'm just an old man now. I can't even wield a sword to kill my enemies. In the end, Jian Guan lay on the table, his face red, like a helpless child, covering his face and crying. Chu Kuangren watched from the side and sighed. Even the high and mighty immortals had many unknown sides to them. Who would have thought that the drunk, crying old man in front of him was once a glorious, era-suppressing sword immortal? Here's 1 billion spiritual marrows. If he comes to drink in the future, just give it to him until the spiritual marrows run out. Chu Kuangren threw a yin and yang ring to the innkeeper. Then, he got up and left. Before he left, he looked at Jian Guan and murmured, maybe one day, I can restore you to your peak. He did not make a promise immediately. Because he did not have that ability yet. Moreover, he only invited Jian Guan for a drink on a whim. Maybe after today, they would not have the chance to meet again. Looking at Chu Kuangren's departing figure, Jian Guan murmured with drunken eyes, this guy may be able to inherit my 1,000 lotus sword intent. After exiting the restaurant, Chu Kuangren strolled around the city. Then, he returned to the Bai family. About 10 days later. It was the appointed time for the Sky Fire Grotto to open. The Bai family's elder ancestor personally led Chu Kuangren, Bai Yeyue, and a few other sky prides with fairy seeds to the Sky Fire Grotto. Not only the Bai family, but the city hall had also sent a large number of experts and troops to escort the fairy seeds to the Sky Fire Grotto. Chu Kuangren did a quick calculation. Excluding him, the City Hall and the Bai family alone had sent 20 fairy seeds to the Skyfire Grotto. There's also the Divine Flame Church, Blue Cloud City, and other miscellaneous forces. This exploration trip to the Skyfire Grotto is really a gathering of fairy seeds. Chu Kuangren chuckled, looking forward to it. It seemed like he was going to earn another wave of opportunities of fortune.